Welcome to Barstool Bench Mob, presented by High Noon Hard Seltzer. We have the four of us today. Loaded. It was a loaded day yesterday. Tuesday now, 2 days ago. How you guys feeling?
Better than Duke?
Jesus.
I felt better. I felt better.
Let me tell you something.
Better
Than Duke. Duke won. You fucking.
If you're watching on YouTube, Rico just gave Marty a big time death stare.
Bro, it's like he forgot how to do his job since he's been gone for a month. He
Dramatic
just
pause.
He looks and I'm what the fuck?
I
was thinking how
me and Jake are waiting for Rico to talk.
I
was letting you go first.
Yeah.
Who do I trigger first? Because there's another guy who lost by 20 last
Yeah,
week.
that's one guy who should not be
just picking my targets.
You're
in the room. I figure I'd knock you out first.
There's one guy on the show that shouldn't be making fun of me at all after one day, but we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to it.
I'm doing
let
well.
him have his piece.
Sorry for being a bad teammate.
We're gonna have.
I let everybody down. I'm happy to be back.
We're gonna have a. I think we start off the show with the Coach K blah blah, and then we have a No-Schtick-Off. We have to have a No-Schtick-Off.
I agree. Yep. Okay.
Just start it
off.
Okay, because I can't. I'm going.
It's a perfect day for it too.
Yes.
It's a perfect no-shtick day.
Yes, I'm gonna have because I have some thoughts, and
same. I have a lot.
I'm still gonna make fun of you, but I have no stick-off.
Big interview.
I'm gonna. Go ahead, Rico.
Big interview with Colin Gillespie.
Oh, so you still don't know how to do a podcast when we're talking and we just talk about
I want to dive. I'm ready to get back into it. Let's get to the No-Schtick. You're teasing too many things.
Jesus Christ. Let's
Colin
get into
Gillespie
the episode.
coming off the game of his life at Providence for Villanova. Well, let's get to it. And here we go.
As always, before we get into the episode, I'm here to talk to you about High Noon Hard Seltzer. What are you shaking your head at?
I'm not shaking my head. I'm nodding. They re-upped the office supply. That.
Really?
Yeah, they're also very far away from my desk.
If you had to do a new flavor, what would your new flavor be?
Temper Tantrum Citrus.
I think Temper Tantrum Citrus is a very, very good flavor. And just give it to you every time you're having a temper tantrum.
They did go viral that day. I haven't seen a check. Not saying it's because of me.
Tell you what,
but you're welcome.
They did.
If Rico's in this mood, maybe a little sour strawberry.
Yeah, sour strawberry ain't bad
I'm just
either.
Subdued. I'm not in a bad.
But High Noon Hard Seltzers, real vodka, real juice, presented by real people like us who love
the people came in
going.
and I was pitching them new flavors, right, Reags?
That's the least shocking thing I've heard.
Yep.
That's the least shocking thing.
I started off. I was like, I love your product. I was like, any new flavors? They're like, yeah, you got any ideas? I'm like, all right, good. And they're like, all right, we're done with you.
Here's a list of 30.
Yeah, there is.
But yeah, it's the best drink out there. Like I said, every time I go to the bar, I get a bucket every single time. Put it on ice. Put it wherever you want. The best tasting drink out there. Go get your High Noon Hard Seltzer. Are we gonna talk about K first?
Okay, so there's a few layers of Coach K. First off, we can discuss the Duke game and the controversial finish and Coach K not finishing the game. He was sick, did not come out. So we can start with that, or we can start with the fact that the story came out that Tommy Amaker had interest in taking over for Coach K, and Coach K refused to let Duke hire him so that Coach K could have a little more power because he was closer to Jon Scheyer. Naturally so, because he's been his assistant for a while.
Well, that's as a journalist, that's just you're saying the wrong things and putting out. He could sue you now the way you just said that.
He said reportedly. You can say whatever you want after.
No, I hope Jake gets sued and you go homeless because the way you said that's defamation. I think it's called. Is that right?
Kinda.
Sure.
Reportedly.
Libel.
Nope. Well, the thing is, he didn't see him as a good fit, and Jon Scheyer, who, again, I've told you thousands of times, Zion Williamson, Jason Tatum, Paolo Banchero, he's the one recruiting them. He knows
bag.
NIL, ever heard of it? But that story it's fucking pissing me off, by the way. Everyone's talking about it.
I was going to argue the point of, former player, but obviously Amaker played for him as well. I think newer player helps Sheyer's case as well. He relates to these guys definitely more than...
We already have the old bag he's leaving. We have a younger guy who can relate to the guys and also have been a part of the team. And Bro, and when people are like, Coach K should have the decision who the fucking next coach is. I don't think it should be like.
I don't think he should have final decision though.
I agree that K should be able to put.
1 second. This guy's got videos playing during
I hate the embedded shit on ESPN. It's the worst.
Keep going, Reags.
I agree that K, no shtick. K has done enough to obviously have a majority say on who the successor should be.
That no matter what that should be everyone's opinion.
What
You're crazy if you don't think
No, he shouldn't get final decision because the AD at the end of the day, sorry Reags, is like, yo, my job's on the line. So when I pick the wrong guy, you're gonna still sit there in your adult diapers at 85, like going like this in the stands, but I might be out of a fucking job.
No.
That's why I said majority say. Now I do think the intriguing story is that apparently Duke and the athletic department wanted to hire Tommy Amaker. I think that is a story. The fact that they wanted Amaker. There's something to that, right? We don't know the whole background of why they want Amaker over Scheyer or anything like that. But to me, that is the intriguing part. The K wanting Scheyer, we all knew that. The K wanting to stay power, yeah, I call him an egomaniac, but he is. It's also of course he wants power. He's been there for fucking 40 years. I think it is intriguing though that reportedly the athletic department wanted to hire Amaker over Scheyer.
It is intriguing. We're starting right now. Shtick-Off. The shtick is off. Everyone.
No shtick. Yeah.
No bias. But in Duke's, you're saying the AD. That AD has a fucking job because of Coach K. He didn't have to fucking work for 30 years because he's done. Duke is Duke because of Coach K.
Is it Danny White?
I don't even know how long he's been. I don't even really know how long he's been there. But he hasn't had to work for 40 years if he was the AD for that long because he has been such. You just know Duke's always going to be there. They're always in the news. He didn't have to do anything. I think that that's if Dave retires, right, and then Penn gets to pick the next person to be the Barstool head of Barstool. Seriously, I think that's a great example.
You're saying Dave should have say.
Dave should have say who's the next person up, and not Penn. Am I wrong?
I think majority say, but it's still
not final decision.
I think he should have final decision.
I'm splitting hairs there. I agree with everything you're saying. He should definitely. It's his program. He built it. He wants to see it succeed down the road. So he should have a major, major, major say in who gets it. Ultimately, the AD gets to pick who really gets the seat.
There needs to be a written contract with this, right? Where it's if Jon Scheyer sucks, the AD is free. He doesn't they don't get fired.
I like that.
Because if it's fine, if you want to say if all the Duke fans and the Duke athletic department wants to say, okay, you've done enough, pick whoever the hell you want to be your successor. And if that person fails, it's not on. Somehow K gets he takes all their losses, but. I'm fine with that. It's just, I think the AD does need protection if it's true that they were 100% set on Tommy Amaker over Scheyer.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play. Go ahead, Marty.
No, keep going.
I was going to say, I'm going to play devil's advocate here just for the spirit of the debate. Usually, and I think we can all agree with this, Duke is one of, if not the best jobs in the sport, right? You have to climb the ladder. I
think it's an interesting one because we don't know what K's been there for so long that I don't think we know. It's obviously a top 4 program, but in terms of job, North Carolina is I think a better job than Duke. When you look at from a coaching standpoint, academic standards and all that stuff going into it.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying.
As
we
a guy
don't know
who
what
says
it's like
people
as a
get
coach.
paid, there's no academic standards.
But I'm saying you do we just don't know what Duke. It's similar to Syracuse. We don't know what those jobs are like.
Right.
We're figuring out with UConn, right, where Calhoun was there forever. He leaves. They just hire Ollie, and it's okay, well, we don't know what kind of coach that they can get in the open market, and how would that coach then hold up what UConn turned into? It's K's been there for so long. Yes, it is one of the 4 best programs in the country, but in terms of a job, do we really know what it's like job-wise?
I get his point.
No, I get it too.
But Duke wasn't a job before he got there.
There's no
Kentucky
job.
was a major job. Kansas is you know what I mean? Like, and these places are basketball Indiana, basketball havens, where like they're never gonna let it bottom out. With Duke, it's crazy. You don't get the wrong guy and you start sucking for 3-4 coaches in a row. Duke is not Duke anymore.
But that's
why, a distant memory. I get what he's saying.
That's never gonna happen with Duke. Like, we're talking about Duke as like a fucking.
They'll always recruit
a TCU.
Well.
Like, we're talking
they'll always have top recruits.
It's Duke. Like, you still go to Duke for Duke. I know you go for Coach K as well, but like you're a college basketball fucking casual. Watch one game, you know that Duke's always. Right. It's like UConn women's always going to be good, no matter what happens. But like, so like Chris Beard goes to Texas, like that's a good job to get, sure. No one like that is ever going to go to Duke. I could just tell you that. Like, no one's good. It's not going to be like it's always going to be like Nolan Smith will probably be next. Like, it's going to be moving up the ladder every time. It'll
be interesting to removed. Right, like Scheyer's a Duke guy. I think whatever happens with Scheyer, they probably stay in the family one more time, and then I think the next coach is when they go.
I mean, if Scheyer,
let's go get the best, this guy from wherever.
Yeah, and you wonder if worst case, things start to go wrong with Scheyer and the next guy, if that is a power job anymore. I'll be honest. Like,
what is happening? I'm gonna say that's stupid.
Reags, let's say they have it down 6 or 7 years. Do you think people would be?
But that's what I mean. When's Duke ever had it down 6 or 7 years? You can't say.
So I think Indiana's. I think Indiana's a good, or UCLA or Indiana's a good example.
You can say anything hypothetically.
I know you can.
I'm not saying a ridiculous thing. I'm not saying like.
But you can't.
They become like the 300th team in the. I'm not saying that, but like, for maybe 500. Maybe they missed the tournament. Maybe their best hit is a 6. If that happens over a 4 or 5 year period. And it happens with Jon Scheyer. Jon Scheyer's out. Nolan Smith kind of does the same thing. Are people going to be dying for that job? They're going to be like, you know what? The luster kind of left off. And there also is the big looming fucking cloud over your head of that you're never going to be as good as Krzyzewski. Because let's face it, nobody will be as good as Krzyzewski.
No, they won't. But I also
think Indiana's a good
6
example.
Or 7, like
Indiana,
say 6 or 7.
Yeah, Indiana had. It's a great point.
They
had to go get Mike Woodson out of nowhere.
6 out of 7 years, sure. Like, if they're that bad, it's no matter what still going to be a desirable job. It is, because no matter what Duke, when you're at Duke,
it's still desirable. But what I'm saying is, it going to be the desirable job?
Let me finish, scumbag. When Duke is like, it's still going to be. Like, that's all they have there is basketball. The football team, no one gives a fuck about. Baseball, sure, like no one really cares about baseball anyway. Like,
soccer,
that's what
whatever.
it is. So like, that's no matter what, someone's gonna want to go there and try and, if they do suck, change that program around. They'd be back to Duke.
But I'm just saying,
I think at the minimum,
season, if the top guy is Chris Beard, let's say Bill, like that of that caliber, or a rising guy like Shaka. Is his first choice going to be Duke or a place like Auburn? I think Duke can drop to be the sexiest job on the board. That's all I'm saying.
I think Duke will always, at the minimum, be able to get the best mid-major coach, right? Like the Shakas of the world. Archie Miller was the guy before he went to Indiana, obviously. Sean Miller from Xavier to Arizona. Like, Duke will always be able to get that sort of guy. Because like you said, look at Indiana, right? They went the reverse way. They went out of the family for 2 hires: Crean, Archie. Went back to the family for Woodson, right? Let's say Woodson fails. Guess what? Indiana's still going to be able to land, I don't know, who's a good, like, if Wes Miller isn't at a bigger job yet.
Preston Spradlin.
He wouldn't do that to Kentucky. But, like, one of those guys, like, Indiana, like,
Jared Grasso.
They'll be able to get, Jared Grasso will be a finalist for Indiana. And then.
Down the road, without a doubt.
But we're also like we're doing like hypotheticals.
Duke will be the same
7 years
ago. All
ago.
I'm saying is it's not going to be the sex. There's a potential. It could be the not sexiest job on the board.
I just don't agree with that because it's Duke. But regardless, like next year we have the top. I think we have the top recruiting class already. Like it's just Coach K's gone. It doesn't even kind of matter in the recruiting wise because Sheyer's done it. That's my only point.
So what I was
curious to see how that goes like 2-3 years from now.
Got it.
Like the first year always is kind of there, right? Because it's like
not really.
You are still Duke, you're still this and everything.
UNC doesn't really next year, the year after.
So the point I was going to make a few minutes ago was, okay, you have Jon Scheyer, who of course has been on the inside for a decade or so since he won the championship in 2010. He's been an assistant. Tommy Amaker, assistant at Duke for 10 years, 88 to 97, which is pretty much how long Scheyer's been there. Head coach at Seton Hall, head coach at Michigan, head coach at Harvard for 15 years. Has he put in more work? Is he more deserving of the job because of his experience? Or is it the flip side of the coin where it's Jon Scheyer who has been on the inside for the last decade? I think it's a fascinating debate to have.
I was going to come in.
It is because.
Go ahead, Reags.
I would say it is because it's not like, I mean, I think Amaker, I know like his record wasn't great at Seton Hall and Michigan, and like he didn't have the NCAA tournament success, but I think he's kind of became like a little bit underrated as a coach when you look at what 4 tournaments at Harvard. He's recruiting well at Harvard. Like he's actually getting like 4-star basketball recruits to Harvard.
No, I'm not letting
I'm
you
just
fucking
saying, like,
do this. It's the Ivy League.
I don't
It's
disagree.
Harvard. It's
still,
always Harvard or Yale.
Princeton, Penn, Cornell. Cornell made the Sweet 16.
As the last, 5 years has it been Harvard or Yale at one?
I think Penn.
Well, not last year. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Yale made it in
definitely
2019. Yale made it in 2019.
I'll play mediator in there. I get what he's saying, that he has built Harvard.
But he also sucked at Michigan and fucking Seton Hall.
That's the point.
That's what
I don't
think
like
the fair
guy.
thing is, right?
I don't like the guy who went down and then you're taking a gamble on him coming back. I was prepared to come into this argument with Duke being like, yeah, of course it makes sense. Amaker's less risk. He was a head coach. You know how he's going to carry himself. He's older. But let's face it, didn't do really well at Seton Hall. Didn't do really well at Michigan. And, like, Harvard is Harvard. But, like, I don't know. Like, to me, it's almost like I thought that you would have sided with the experience. Amaker's experience just doesn't do it for me. It makes sense that they went with Scheyer.
Yeah,
It really
I
does.
think the floor, I think with Amaker, you know what the floor is, right? Like, you know where the bottom out point is with Amaker,
Yeah.
but the ceiling's a little more capped, right? Like, I think you know Amaker at his best what the ceiling is, even at Duke, where Scheyer, like, yeah, you could bottom out way more because he's a first-year head coach at been taking it at Duke. But I also think the ceiling's higher with Scheyer because we don't know, like, we don't really know his like in-game tendencies and how he's going to like manage a program. He's obviously been recruiting for 7 years, landing good like elite recruits. So I get like, hey, we're going to take the risk on the higher ceiling, lower floor. I don't even disagree that like you hire, like, I don't disagree hiring Scheyer over Amaker. I just think it's more intriguing that that's who the athletic department wants.
Yeah, and we said before, we say it all the time, like fucking these kids don't care. Like Patrick Ewing, it's like old. Like they don't know how these kids, like especially with NIL, like Sheyer's younger can work with them in social media stuff and just like give them advice. Like he's in it more.
Also, the sense of he's gonna walk into a living room and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm Coach Scheyer," and he's like, "Yeah, I was such a big fan of yours." You know, like
Yeah,
he's got that
100%.
over Amaker. I mean,
Right.
let's face it, Amaker was 10 games under 500 at Michigan.
Yeah, no, like that's a fair point. And that's why I think you know what the bottom out point is, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the bottom out point with Amaker.
Even to like double down, there's always that mystery box. Like it's like a social thing. Like, hey Marty, in box 1 is like a safe life, nice job, like good looking wife, house, like happiness. Mystery box 2 is a mystery box. Everybody's gonna be like fucking. Like it's just fucking.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
No,
part
1000%.
gambler with us as well. But like
I want
that,
to know what's in that box.
yeah, like that might have helped Scheyer. Like Scheyer has all the negatives, hasn't coached one game, don't know what he could do, don't know whatever. But all those are also positives. He could be the fucking moon. We know what Amaker did. You know what I mean? Like,
And you also don't, like, we really don't know the inside of Duke where it's like Sheyer's probably he's probably been doing all the head coaching stuff already because Coach K.
Well, I think it's more also the fact that like Scheyer can just keep everybody there that's already on staff, right? Like he doesn't need to go hire a new staff. Where not saying Amaker would bring in his own staff or anything,
But he needs to
but the
bring some of
risk
his
of that
guys.
is, but the risk of that is there, right? Of hey, okay, I'm going to keep John as my head assistant, but I'm getting rid of assistants 2, 3, and 4 and bringing in,
Yeah.
you know, I want this guy, this guy, this guy. So
That's a
that is
recipe.
true.
that's a
We don't
recipe
know
for
what it's like
disaster
to do.
because the other guys might have thought Scheyer should have got the job anyway, or they got the job. You know, so
Right.
now you're working for a guy where you're just sandbagging. Like that relationship's never gonna work.
Yeah.
You know, so
That's a good debate.
Oh, it's a good debate. And so Jon Scheyer obviously taking over next season, but he also took over last night, Tuesday night in the second half. Coach K not feeling well, didn't come out of the locker room. So Scheyer coached the second half in what was a crazy game. It seemed like Duke was on cruise control. Wake made a late run. Yeah, it looked like it was over. Then Wake not going away. We mentioned our last episode. It's probably Coach Forbes who's going to get ACC Coach of the Year,
which I'd like to talk about.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, we can hit on this game. I mean, Wake looks like a tournament team. They didn't win this game. It was controversy at the end. I think they made the right call, overturning it and saying it was a Duke bucket. There were a few different angles. No, there were a few different angles. Matt Norlander tweeted it out. There was 2 tips. The first tip looked like it was not goaltending, and then there was a second tip that looked like it was over the cylinder.
He takes his right hand outside of the cylinder, tips it back up, and then uses his left hand while it's in the cylinder. But apparently, like Norlander tweeted out the rule book, which is apparently legal. My thing is, can we just go FIBA rules here? Can we just let
FIBA? There's no offensive goaltending, right?
Can we just let it happen? It would take away this argument that's happened. I feel like this happens in 2 marquee games a year. Just take it away.
Why do I remember? Did it also happen in the Houston UCLA game where they were both?
It was Kentucky. It was Kentucky LSU a couple years ago.
No, I'm thinking of an NCAA tournament game.
Houston SMU or not Houston SMU. SMU UCLA,
right? Got it.
Yeah,
I knew it was an A.
That was a defensive goaltending.
You want to get rid of it? You want to get rid of offensive goaltending altogether?
No, you're allowed to like FIBA rules. If it's on the cylinder, you can just dunk it back or you can swipe it off. You can't clearly if the ball's on its way down, you can't just swat it out of there. But if it bounces on the rim, I think you should have the right to be able to make sure it goes in or make sure it doesn't go.
I think what you saw last night of it got off the cylinder a little bit and you put it back. You cannot call that offensive goal. That would have been insane. There was also some. I swear to God, the shtick's off. There was some fucking. That Mark Williams block was a complete block at the end. That was he.
It was actually a foul on the floor. Yeah, it was Williams had it clean.
Yeah,
but at the same time, Adonis Williams picking up 3 fouls in the first 7 minutes. I think one of them might have been a foul.
Yeah, exactly. The reffing and the backcourt violation. What the fuck was that?
I actually thought I didn't think that was a foul. That was just a weird play.
It was a weird ass play. I
don't think he bumped him.
The shtick's off.
Yeah, I don't think he bumped him. I think it was just
for me. Is it on or off?
Off.
All right, on because I want one shtick on real quick. I'm convinced Coach K is retired because of Steve Forbes. He missed the Wake Forest game the first time and left with illness this time. Steve Forbes forced Coach K into retirement.
All right, that's a good shtick. That's a good one. That was worth it going on. All right, mine's off.
Okay.
Coach K not coming out. That's obviously. I hope he feels better. That sucks. I'm scared. They gotta fucking close out these games. They closed out the game though. They closed us out. They did. They did it. They won. You can't.
Win.
A win's a win. I don't. And Wake Forest is a good team. They just are.
Are you all of a sudden worried about their depth?
No, not at all.
16 bench. I'm sorry. Well, Roach off the bench had 18. I apologize.
Not one.
Roach 12 bench points. Joey Baker's non-existent.
Theo
John's
not
their stars
there.
are good enough to carry
all
them.
of a sudden I thought
You have 4 stars.
Yeah, I don't think that's a word.
3 definite stars. 4 their stars outweigh it.
That's the only thing I'm.
But they have.
It depends who the foul trouble's on. If it's Paolo, then you're screwed because it's Paolo. But even Keels.
But Keels and Griffin are they can.
That's what I'm saying. If one of them get in foul trouble, you still have Paolo out there, so that kind of helps out. But
the biggest thing, you just have to. You can't be up 19 in the second half and then win out a buzzer beater. It's just not. You can't have that happen, and they need to figure that out. That's the one thing I'm worried about. Their offense is so good. I don't care. They can match up against anyone. Like I've said before, they beat Gonzaga. They beat Kentucky without AJ Griffin. And I know it's beginning of the year. I know it's not everyone there how they actually are now, but still AJ Griffin didn't play. And he's one of their main pieces now. So I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about obviously some of their defense, but just late in games they're not mentally there. It seems like there's a lot of stupid fucking turnovers.
Yeah, but it's been ugly, but they've still won some tight games.
Exactly.
Clemson beat Wake. Louisville on the road, they won by 9, but that was close with 4 minutes left. So they've proven they've won them. But again, Virginia, Florida State, Miami, if you're 2 minutes left in the Sweet 16 against a number 4 seed UConn, that's scary. There's a very good chance UConn wins that game.
It is.
It's concerning that it happened at home.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing is it happened at home. I think even without K, you should not that should not come down to a tip-in buzzer beater with 0.4 of a second.
Well, two things off of that. First off, the buzzer beater, Steve Forbes, I think, was quoted. I saw this tweet.
Awesome quote.
Bless you.
Bless you.
He goes, always Marty.
Trigger.
He said,
I have it.
They said, do you think the shot was good? Like, I know it's a long shot. You think it would have counted? He goes, I think it left his hand. It probably would have counted. But who knows here? You know how that goes. Basically saying, like,
I'd love
whatever.
to have. We're gonna have him on, by the way.
He's probably ACC coach of the year right now. He's
friends
13th.
with Brandon, so we're gonna have him on. I'd love to talk to him about that
And the
because he
second
got a
thing-
lot of fucking calls too, Steve.
As a neutral party, I guess Jake's probably the best answer for this because it involves both of you.
Aren't you a Duke guy still?
No, he's
Oh,
not.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
not, bro.
You
He's
just
literally
said you're
not at
neutral.
all. It's fucking crazy.
I have journalistic credibility.
If they win a national
I'm just looking to
championship,
settle. We're doing Schtick-Off. I'm just
journalistic
settling two guys
credibility, bro. Fuck we have a journalist already. I don't fucking need you being one.
I'm just handling this debate. Are you worried a little bit that Duke is trending down from that meeting at the Garden and Kentucky's trending up?
Kentucky's literally not trending.
The whole season.
They literally just lost by
Saying
20
over the
to
course of the
Tennessee.
year, I think.
Wait a second. That's what the fuck? Kentucky trigger. That's Kentucky just lost at Tennessee by 20, which is I'm not worried about them at all, honestly. But Duke literally has just been winning. They have 4 losses.
I think Rico's saying
that team at the Garden, if Duke was rated A minus that night, Kentucky was probably, what would you say, Reags, a B minus?
Yeah.
But
Okay, I think
But that's
Duke's-
idiotic as well right there because I'm sorry about the idiotic. That was mean. That was a trigger
It's not a
word
big
right
deal.
there.
It's just,
But what I'm saying about Duke with that same thing, again, AJ Griffin wasn't there. Also, Paolo didn't score in the second half. Like, that's 2 things right there. You're saying A minus. That's not A minus for Duke right there.
we've seen Paolo get shut down a couple of times or not take
I think
shots.
the better-
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
I think the better takeaway is that the consensus after that first game was Duke is clearly better than Kentucky,
Yes.
right? Like, that was a consensus after the first game. Now I think what Rico's saying is it flipped where maybe not consensus, but I would say probably 65% of people would, if you're ranking, would say Kentucky's better than Duke right now.
Bro, I like in honesty, it is a very they're
It's a
like
thin line.
neck and neck with me.
It's a thin line,
Like, I
right?
think
But if
both of them.
you had to say one over the other, I think the majority would say Kentucky over Duke right now.
they line up
Because
they line up
honestly,
against
though-
each other. Who do you think the best player on the floor is? Too. Does
I mean,
Sheboy
it's
have a
Paolo.
little bit of an edge on Paolo?
Paolo's
Okay.
definitely
No, it's Paolo.
best.
Paolo's the most talented player.
He's
in
definitely the
in
most
that
talented.
game, yeah.
But
Sheboy
I mean,
I think Sheboy could take a game over.
But I think
But
Ty would be now. I think the bigger thing for Kentucky if they play Duke is that Ty's now
Right.
used to the college game. Like Keels just ate him up that first game. Where
yeah, which with Keels, but Keels will still have to be on it. But regardless,
All right.
it's do like when you ask that, more people are inclined to say Kentucky because obviously the SEC is better than the ACC right now. The teams that they're playing, where everyone's just down on Duke because of the Gonzaga effect, where it's like, oh, they all suck, they should be winning, it doesn't matter, and they're gonna fall. Like, that's what I think a lot of people are on, which is fair because I have the same thoughts.
All right, one more.
Look how healthy
little-
that conversation was with me saying like fuck you and dude.
Yeah,
That was the most real I've talked about.
I think
Duke,
I
no?
like Schtick-Off Marty a lot more than Stick-On.
Yeah.
I mean, you called him an idiot.
Well, he is fucking idiot sometimes when he says
You're gonna
like
catch-
things like that.
you all get mad.
go to
You're
a
supposed to
fire.
get mad at friends in a shtick off.
Yeah.
You have friends that are gun guys. You're gonna catch a couple of straight.
Can I ask you a question real quick before you move on,
We're all
Jake?
gun guys.
Rico,
Yeah.
when you talk about journalistic integrity, what does that mean when you talk about Duke? Because you mentioned it last episode too, and I didn't want to say anything, but what does that mean?
You keep it honest about a team, no matter how high or how low they are.
So what about Alabama?
Fucking Jake, 2 episodes in a row.
I've
We
said-
sing that.
Jake in the middle of shtick off doing this too.
I've said they have a lot of problems turning the ball over, and their defense was way worse. The defensive rating is a little bit higher now. I think we're going to see the makeup of this team over the next couple of weeks. They got to go steal one between Kentucky and LSU. The rest of that schedule, they have to win. Non-negotiable, they have to win out. If they lose another one of these games,
Against Kentucky?
no, against like Texas A&M, like they have to split LSU and Kentucky. I think that's
Because
reasonable.
they can get the excuse, they can get the pass for like losing at Kentucky. Like
Yeah.
It's a home run.
that's not going to hurt them.
It's a
to lose
home
at
run, obviously, if
Kentucky.
they win both. But with winning both, that means they have to win all the way out. Like there is no excuse to lose to Ole Miss tonight. You can't lose to Texas A&M. You can't lose
No,
to if they have
Mississippi
Vanderbilt
State.
again. Whatever. I'm
Mississippi
just saying.
State tonight.
Yeah, I didn't mean
What did I? Who? Mississippi State tonight? Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Tonight.
I didn't mean to turn it to an Alabama. I was just
you're
questioning
it's
your.
It's good to challenge. It's good to challenge. It's also good to
All
talk
right.
it out, boys.
Yeah.
And
we're
yeah,
doing a good job
Forbes,
talking.
journalistic credibility, because I did graduate with a journalism degree. I'm a Wake guy. My dad went to Wake. Steve Forbes
Yeah, you keep
is
tweeting.
perfect for Wake.
This guy is obsessed with it. You talk about
Steve Forbes
gifts.
is perfect
Randolph
for Wake.
Childress, I thought it's a great name. I knew him. I watched him enough, but like I thought he
I
was
wore
a
22
cool-
my entire life for him.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm now off of Randolph Childress. How much he fucking.
Oh,
Loves.
you're.
This guy tweets the gif of him falling down, which is also a hot dog. They should have waived the playoff.
No,
Dean
Steve
Smith
Forbes,
wanted a technical.
He 5 years at East Tennessee State. I know Marty.
He's
the
awesome.
coach.
He's
He's the
awesome.
coach.
major,
Yeah,
but
so
24 wins each season. Like
I was
that's
saying
that's
it's him
impressive.
and Bray. Notre Dame was picked 8th in the conference. Wake Forest is Forbes without a doubt going to win Coach of the Year.
So Forbes, yes, Wake Forest came out of nowhere, sure. This is Coach K's last year. People know that. That
You
goes
think the media is
into
going
it.
to throw him a bone?
They were awful last year. So you have to also give. I know Duke should be there. They should be winning. Hear me out. Last year, I don't care what anyone says. That goes into it. Second, they were awful last year, turning into winning the ACC, and if they win the ACC tournament, especially, that's unbelievable. How do you not give it to Coach K?
Question.
Yep.
Does that mean Coach Cal is the favorite for National Coach of the Year because of the disaster last year and what he's done so far
He
this year?
should be up for it.
I get your point.
Okay.
But you agree that the award is built. The award is built for guys like Krzyzewski and Cal.
100%.
It's always
Not
built
to-
for the.
That's just
it's
how
It's
it
like
built
I
for
said, it's the
whoever-
LeBron.
Bill Self's won it
like,
6 times.
LeBron
Bill Self should
should've-
win it fucking every year.
LeBron should have been the MVP for like 10 years straight.
Right.
It's like
Right.
it doesn't matter, but just give it to somebody
It's
else.
whoever like.
But I
surprised-
really do
what
think-
I get
surprised
what your
team.
point.
I
done
really
he's
do
done a
think
pretty
the
good
end
job.
of his last year they might just throw him a bone, but it should be Forbes, honestly.
And Bray should be the runner-up.
Forbes should be in consideration for National Coach of the Year. Even.
If
Like you
it's-
look how bad
Providence
Wake.
was so bad.
You look
Providence
at
is
how bad Wake is. I know, but I'm saying like, I think when like we agree like whenever we talk Coach of the Year, it's always like Lloyd, Adams, and Cooley. Like Forbes should at least be on the list. At some
Yeah,
point.
it should be on the list, but I honestly, if it has to be, it literally has to be Cooley.
Right now, yeah.
To go to
they're
a
20.
top 10 team, like Wake Forest hasn't even been ranked. Like Providence went to
Yeah.
number 8. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
Honestly,
said
I still might vote Tommy Lloyd, but
we would have been canceled as a podcast if we started the year saying Providence is going to be ranked 8th in the country.
oh yeah, you guys just love Cooley.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah. I have one more little nugget on Duke, the scheduling, just to be like a wake-up call of how close we are to March. So Duke hosts Florida State on Saturday. They should take care of business. Obviously, it's a revenge game, and FSU's been without their best player, and they've not been good. I don't know. We don't want to speculate on Coach K's health, but if he misses that game, he has one last dance. This is their second to last home game. UNC.
Interesting.
Isn't that crazy? They have 3 road games, Virginia, Syracuse, Pittsburgh after this weekend, and then home against North Carolina. They have 2 home games left.
Yeah, I think he coaches. It looked like he literally just had he had to take a shit is honestly what it looked like when he was on the bench.
You know, it's like I'm supposed to. I don't know, man. He's just old. I hope he's all right.
That's what I'm saying. Like he looked like he maybe shit himself.
Yeah. No,
Old
he
people
would
do
never.
that.
He has a very trained fucking anus. He would never do that.
Yeah, and so that's Duke Wake and the Tommy Amaker story. And look, people are going to be like, "Oh, you guys always talk about Duke." Well, look, Duke moves the needle. It's whenever Coach K does something, whenever Duke does something, it's a big story in the
Can
sport.
you imagine-
This isn't
Also,
us
if
being
this-
a Marty bias or anything. Like, this is what people want to hear.
If this was a 22-point game, we're probably not spending 15, 20 minutes on it.
Yeah,
If there's
right.
a controversial ending, like we know we got to go where we're going.
Imagine like we're trying to get Coach K, and they're like, "Oh, like send me some of the clips," and all it says, "Coach K has a trained anus." He's like, "I want those guys. I always told people that."
Yeah,
I also
But,
was
At least
streaming.
somebody said it.
Yeah, I was streaming last night, like to the end of the game, and I was tweeting like, "What a win, easy!" And when that fucking last throw almost went in, that was in and out. Like that legit hit the inside of the rim.
It was
I don't
late.
think he
It
got
was
it.
late.
I don't think he got it off. On
I don't
time,
even care.
but, like,
It's just the fact
you
that
should
it
have,
was-
like, regardless, you should count that if that goes in.
Yeah,
I don't
you
even care
have
if it's a
to.
second. Like you count that.
yes.
yeah. But what I was saying is like, look, if Syracuse had a similar situation and Boeheim wanted either Mike Hopkins or Jerry McNamara,
Yeah.
we would care in Central New York. The national media wouldn't take the bait as much as Coach K, you know?
Yeah.
And I love Syracuse. I
Right.
went there, but It's a big story anytime Coach K says or does something. So I think it was worth leading off the show with. And the game helped as well with the drama. But, of course, we hope Coach K is back soon for this final stretch. All right, from one blue blood to another, Duke had a positive result. Not so much for our friend Reags in Kentucky. A beatdown in Knoxville. Number 16, Tennessee, 76. Number 4, Kentucky, 63. Reags, I saw you on Twitter defending your take time and time again. You believe this game doesn't matter at all. Explain.
All right, Schtick-Off, no shtick.
Oh God,
he's kind of
from a Kentucky standpoint, like that loss, it penalizes them one spot where they're either the last number 1 seed going into it. They're now probably the top 2 or second 2 seed. You can easily get that back. They have 4 quad 1 games left. Like they beat Alabama on Saturday. They split. And listen, we talked a lot of shit about Tennessee. It's still a top 10 loss on the road.
Oh, that's what you're gonna say now?
I'm just saying in terms of I'm looking at it from the committee standpoint. In terms of the tournament, losing whether it's the net or KenPom, which is what they use, they're both ranked 9 and 10 on there, or 9 on both.
Stupid. He's a fraud. Stupid. That doesn't compute.
What about the net?
Doesn't compute.
What about the net?
Nothing computes what you're saying to me. What
the net is literally what the committee uses.
You have said, and I have said it, and we do have to apologize a little bit. I'm not apologizing fully. Tennessee. It's not. I'm not saying it's a bad. Like it's at Tennessee. Like I understand.
Yeah, you don't get penalized for that sort of.
It's not penalized, but like you also got the shit kicked out of you. It wasn't like you really weren't in that game at all. It was a bad. They did not look good. And as
it's the worst game they played.
Like
worst game they played.
Can't. It means something. Like those games happen. You can't say it doesn't mean
it doesn't
nothing.
Though.
But in the long term,
but like Virginia
really
beating Duke means nothing to me either. Honestly, that's
a home loss to a bubble team at best.
But that's like you played bad.
Road.
You played, but they didn't get blown. Like they played bad and lost by 2 on a buzzer beater. Lost by 1. It's like if you're gonna nitpick, like that's like it matters because that's just a team that you got blown out by.
It doesn't change
but I'm
the
saying
storyline of his team.
I'm not worried. No, I'm not. That doesn't make me worried about Kentucky, but it
right.
still matters.
All right.
It does, but I'm talking. It doesn't matter in terms of like. It doesn't matter in terms of March. Like you don't. You get penalized maybe 1 spot. So they were the 4th 1 seed. They now go to the second or the top 2 seed. Well, you can easily, like they're not capped at that 2 seed.
They're definitely not the 1 seed right now.
There's a very clear path to be a 1 seed. The 4th 1 seed is going to be an interesting debate. I'm curious about on Saturday because there are like 4 teams that can get it. But
Duke has the easiest road to get one because they win out.
Games in a row. Yeah, but it's going to be tough.
We'll know more on Saturday. But
they have the easiest route to it, I think, because the other teams like are harder games.
Yeah,
Virginia and Syracuse back to back.
No, it's not. Like,
I agree. If they run the table, they're going to get it.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of like in a vacuum without knowing what like the teams. I think they're gonna be ranked I think Duke's gonna be ranked 7th on Saturday or 6th. So depending like what happens to 4 or 5.
You have been saying like on Twitter a lot too, which I agree with. Like, why is Ty a game time decision? And they're like, all right, let's put him out. It's like if he's that hurt or whatever it is, just keep him out.
Duke probably does have the easiest road. You start looking at like rankings and like who's gonna knock. Like the Big 12, you could say like Texas Tech, Kansas is an uphill battle because they got smacked by. But Baylor, all these guys are gonna be banging each other the rest of the way.
But the question though is, does that win mean more than like Duke beating Syracuse?
Yeah, I
you know
think
what I mean?
It doesn't. It does more, but like if Duke is, what would they be? 26-4.
That's why I'm curious to see how Saturday shakes out. Like if Duke's in 7th, let's say on Saturday's bracket reveal, will they have enough? Or like, will enough happen for them to jump? Because they obviously would need teams to. They would obviously need teams to lose, right? Like they have 3 spots to jump. It'll be interesting. I think we'll get into that later because I think I have a take about who's all jumbled up there. But yeah, the playing Ty pissed me off. Like I did not want Ty to play in that game. I love Jacob Toppin had a quote after the game that like talked about how Ty was just wanted to play and win and help the team. Like I love that he has that in him. Because it like you need that, but at the same time, like, bro, it's a February in Knoxville. Let's worry about March.
And I'm surprised a guy like Cal, who does kind of have the big picture always in mind, like the draft and all that shit. I don't love his X's and O's. I'm surprised he didn't be like, hey, buddy, this one don't matter. Like, it's great.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah, yeah.
It's great. I'm surprised he didn't pull the plug like, hey, you know what?
He only played like 13, 10 minutes or something.
He had to leave the game. He didn't
play.
That's what I'm
the
saying.
first 20 seconds of the second half, right?
Yeah, and even the first half, you could tell like he was limping. Like Cal took him out, and I thought he was just going to shut him down after that.
But that's also a thing, bro, where we have to start talking about Kentucky, where it's like that's going to be lingering.
That's the biggest concern.
Yeah,
because Ty is the most important part to Kentucky.
1000%.
Like Sheway is going to be an All-American. Ty is the most important person because of he's a playmaker. He's a second ball handler. He's a really good shooter that then opens up space for Grady, who's an elite shooter. Without Ty, you're stuck running I like what Davion Mintz does off the bench. I don't like him as the second ball handler. Like I'd much rather him just play on the wing and let Ty and Wheeler be the ball handler. You lose everything without Ty. And it showed last night where it's like,
listen,
Ty's a guy that can break down defenses.
We saw it last season. Villanova was a tier 1 title contender. And then we'll hear from Colin Gillespie in a little bit in his road to recovery. Once he went out, we all agreed. We all hopped off the boat. They had no shot of winning it all once you lose him.
That's why we're a little worried about. That's why we're a little worried about Baylor. They're now down forget one piece. They might be down 2 pieces.
Yeah, right. Chama Chachua out for the year. I know we talked about it Sunday, but now it's confirmed. For the season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they can win it all now. Like he's a big presence. And the same goes for Kentucky. If Ty's out, I don't think they can do it.
That's my biggest concern. It's not like what happened during the game. Like, yes, they played like shit, and you don't want to see your team look completely terrible. It's crazy to say otherwise. My biggest concern, my biggest takeaway is shit, if Ty does not get healthy, this team is really, really in a bad spot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. 2 things on Tennessee to wrap up this game. One, this is the first time since December that John Fulkerson has proven his $300 podcast appearance fee. He played well. We got to give him credit.
I got a couple tweets last night. Like, thank God they didn't go on that fucking stupid podcast. He should have asked for $300 to go on those losers.
Reags, the manager, never emailed me back. You might not know this story. So, when we tried to get him on, obviously, he tells us this, and then they sucked. He was Rick Barnes was questioning his attitude. I was like, hey, I emailed the agent while we were on the thing. I said, how much now? Or the manager.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
I believe you. I don't believe you. You don't got to show me it. But
how much now?
100% believe you. I don't need to see it.
While he's looking for that. So we got to credit John Fulkerson. He played well for the first time in a while against a good team. Number 2, maybe not me, but on this podcast, we talk a lot of crap at a lot of teams. Nobody comes at us like the Tennessee fan base. They are nasty.
They're especially more mad at us now.
You said, hey, pal?
Hey, pal.
Oh, my God.
How much to come on the pod now? Love the effort I'm seeing on the court.
We're never going to get a Tennessee guest ever.
No.
That's gone. Tennessee's out of us, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the hey, pal. I'll say this right now.
That was also January 9th, and then January 11th was a certain act. So Tennessee's fucking out on us.
John Fulkerson owes you a month paycheck as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Tennessee fans. 1, shut the fuck up. That's my first thing. 2,
you've never done anything. You're a women's program.
You always
sorry to yell.
You're
a women's program.
Always are overrated. But right now,
what? No, absolutely not. But don't come at us like you've won.
Oh, they're a great.
You got national championship banners.
They've never made a Final Four.
They've never made a Final Four.
They're a women's program.
We'll give you credit. That's a great win at home.
It's a great win.
They are in the conversation. Do I think you win a championship? No, I don't think you can. I don't think you can.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
But now you're a top 4 seed. You're
one of the top 16 but what is that? Is that 8 wins in a row in the SEC?
Yeah, because I think their only loss was to Texas.
Yeah, they lost. Oh yeah, SEC 8 wins in a row. Sorry. Yeah, because the Big 12 Challenge. Yeah, so 8 wins in a row.
8 wins in a row in the SEC. You got to give them credit. Like SEC is tough. They're a good team. I'm telling you, Tennessee fans, you're a good team. Maybe you can get hot.
Challenge.
What?
Do we have to give them credit for 8 wins in the SEC when it was Kentucky? Yes. Vandy, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Texas A&M, Florida, LSU, and Vandy.
You're doing something. You're doing something right now where it's gonna bite you in the ass if you talk about another team.
8 wins in a row. The SEC is 8 wins in a row.
You didn't beat Georgia. They didn't beat. They've lost to shitty teams as well. So which one do you want to go on? What side?
Tennessee does not have a bad loss.
Quick heads up: that team that you're talking about that I'm guessing, who you're referencing, did beat Tennessee.
For sure. But which one do you want to
Head-to-head.
go on? Like, you're like, is that good wins, bad losses? Which one do you want to do? You got to pick a side.
I think it's
To me,
concerning if you run beat. Like now they beat Kentucky, but like they didn't have any wins up to that point.
They
Like,
won that. They beat whoever they had to beat. You know what I mean?
Fair.
I don't
they're
still
bad.
again.
Well, they have the
I'll still
Arizona
sit
win.
here and talk shit about Tennessee. I don't think they're that good. Whatever. That's a great win yesterday.
They do it all at home.
Prove me wrong. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, they do it all.
at home.
Like,
Yeah,
yes,
I mean,
they won at
they're
Mississippi
fine.
State, but
Who's their remaining schedule? Away.
Arkansas
they have-
Saturday. If they win
At
at
Arkansas?
Bud Walton Arena, I
Yeah.
will believe in Tennessee.
Okay,
fully.
yes, that is Tennessee fans. I will compliment you to the moon if you beat Arkansas at Arkansas.
I want to go.
They
I want to go now.
You want to go?
I want to
They've-
dress as a pig and fucking. I'm double down that they're not good.
I would love to
I'd
go.
love to go.
I
think
they have
Arkansas takes care of it.
two games against Arkansas and a home game against Auburn left. For 3 of their 5, that's what they have.
I would not be
They-
shocked if they beat Auburn at home next Saturday.
I would.
They're really good at home. They beat Arizona at home.
Yeah.
They beat Kentucky at home.
Auburn's a different.
That was a super friendly whistle though against Arizona. Like if you remember
I'm
that,
not going to
was
nitpick
a
that much. That's a
super
really
friendly
good win.
whistle. Yeah.
That's a good win.
I don't know. I mean, like they're fine. Like they're always. This team is just going to be one of those like fine teams.
I
Like
think
they
there's a
should
lot
probably
of that.
make the Sweet 16. Yeah.
There's a lot of that this year. There's a lot of teams who can win, and then there's a lot of like fine teams, you know. And like, listen, we love Cooley, and I think Providence is overachieving, but like, let's be honest, he's never been in the Sweet 16. So like, there is a lot of pressure that comes with these teams that you can they handle it? Like Ohio State, I know they beat Duke. I think they're It's dumb to doubt Izzo, but I think Michigan State is like You know, there's a lot of these teams in the mix of high seeds that have a lot of problems. And then I also think there's a lot of good elite teams, obviously, and some sleepers who are, hey, if they figure it out, you worry about them. Memphis, Bama, Michigan. Like, for Christ's sakes, they were fucking all top 10 preseason. You know, so, like, it's going to be an interesting tournament. That's all I got to say. I think it's going to be the best. I know we all look forward to the first round. I'm going to put this as a hot, scorching take. I think this is the best second round in a long time.
You mean Sweet 16? Second weekend?
No,
Nope.
like the round of
Saturday
32.
and Sunday is like elite. I think Saturday and Sunday is going to be really good.
I agree with
There'll
that.
be a
think
lot of
you're
good,
gonna
like,
see-
3-6 games.
It's going to be like prototypical first round. You know, you're rooting for the upsets. I'm actually rooting there's less and less upsets. Let's hold the seeds and watch this all kind of play out. I really
Well,
do.
that's
I
what
think-
happened in 2019, right?
Yep.
We were all upset there was no Cinderella, and then Purdue, Tennessee, unbelievable
I think
game.
there's going to be a lot of good 8-9 versus 1s, I think, as
that's
well.
That's second round.
No, I
So,
know.
yeah.
One of those
5-4
one seeds.
5-4s.
One of the-
5-4s is
one of
gonna
the
be
one
fucking
seeds.
dog. It's going to be a war.
I think one of the 1 seeds will lose the first weekend to an 8-9 game.
Purdue.
And I also think you see a couple double-digit seeds in the Sweet 16. Because I could see, like, we talk about, like, a team, like, we say, like, look at the 6 seeds, like the Alabamas, or, like, the 5-6 seeds. Alabama's, Ohio States of the world, even, like, Tennessee. Would you be shocked if, like, a Oregon 12 seed and wins 2 games?
No.
Rico would love
Rico's
that.
just
I know.
tickling
I'm
it.
just using them as
Still haven't
example.
got
Like,
back in on Oregon. Every time they win, they get pounded by Cal. I was sitting
Or
there
like
Saturday.
Creighton.
I'm like, I gotta go bet Oregon. They lose to Cal. I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm back off.
would you be
Crazy.
shocked if, like a 12 seed Creighton wins 2 games? Like, they just get hot shooting the ball?
Yeah.
How about Wake
no.
Forest?
This
Wake
podcast
Forest,
is
a 10
anti.
seed.
This podcast is anti-Creighton.
yeah.
It's anti-Creighton.
Yeah. So that's Tennessee, Kentucky. Again, credit to Tennessee. They win at Arkansas. We will take back some of what we said and really believe in them that they can be a Final Four contender. But yeah, Kentucky, the biggest thing. If they're not healthy, they can't win it all.
Yeah.
I think we all agree with that. Let's move to the Big Ten. And I know people want us to talk about the top 10 game, Villanova, Providence, but we're going to naturally lead that into our interview with Colin Gillespie, the star of that game. So first up, in Assembly Hall, number 15, Wisconsin 74, Indiana 69. Here's my take on it. Based on how this game was setting up, no matter how this game ended, we were going to walk away with thinking the loser was in trouble because Indiana was coming off the suspension weird thing at Northwestern. Wisconsin was coming off the home loss to Rutgers. So there was going to be a sour taste in our mouth for the loser, and that loser so happens to be Indiana, who now is suddenly a bubble team.
Who controlled most of the game. At the
end, Johnny Davis scorched him.
Johnny Davis is just. I mean, it's the same fucking conversation every week. Johnny Davis is fucking good, but I don't think they're that good. I don't know what to fucking say.
This was the same story for the game right around Christmas. Indiana, weren't we celebrating our win? Indiana had Wisconsin. Am I wrong? Remembering that game?
Indiana
they had them dead to rights.
First game.
Yeah.
Dead to rights.
And it was the largest comeback in Wisconsin.
Crazy. Indiana's going to look 20. Indiana doesn't get back in. They're going to go motherfucking Wisconsin because it's true. Those 2 wins changed their whole season.
Our group chat, by the way, no one answers. No one answers me at all. It's fucking insane. I feel like Rico usually when I'm texting.
What'd you do?
All I said was someone clipped Johnny Davis going bye-bye. It was fucking awesome. After the game, he went to the crowd.
I saw that.
Very close up, goes bye-bye. It was awesome. But no, let's not tweet it, because Marty's an asshole. But regardless, Johnny Davis, that's the thing. They are who they are. Johnny Davis can become one of like a Steph Curry story if he wants to in college basketball. Not Steph Curry, but like someone who can just take it over and you're like, wow, remember what Johnny Davis did during the tournament. Or they could lose in the fucking first round. Either way.
Yeah.
You got to give him credit, though. That's a good win on the road.
Right, like, I agree completely. My bigger takeaway, again, though, is Indiana has a legit shot at missing the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Like, legit shot. They have – so I talked about this earlier with somebody. They have 5 games left, right? They're at Ohio State, home to Maryland, at Minnesota, home to Rutgers, at Purdue. They don't go 3-2 in that stretch.
It's tight.
They're on the outside.
Obviously, the Big Ten tournament, but yeah, I agree. I mean, the decision for Mike Woodson, I know he wanted to make a statement. That Northwestern game, I think we talked about it last week, like kind of punted it away, right?
Indiana, 4-0.
Bad.
That's a game where I understand you want to make a statement, but that's a game where if they're fully healthy, they're winning that game.
It's going to come down to that game, I'm telling you.
Or the loss to Penn State. Like, you just can't lose. Indiana was doing it right for being kind of like this, like 8 seed, right, where they stole 2 games at home against Purdue and Ohio State. They were avoiding bad losses, and then they lose to Northwestern and Penn State. Like, if they lost to Minnesota during this 5-game stretch, I'm not going to be surprised.
Right.
But you're also win on Monday at Ohio State and erase all of this.
You're not surprised.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, they're gonna do exactly what like Syracuse. They're Syracuse West. They're gonna beat Purdue or Ohio State, lose one to Minnesota, be in a dogfight at Rutgers. They're a bubble team. They're right down to it.
You know who's a forgotten team in the Big Ten? It's Ohio State, where it's like they've been ranked. They kind of have been like around.
They're always like 18th.
They're always 18th, maybe a 21, just around there. And it's like they beat Duke, so everyone's like remembers that, but it was so long ago. And they like win the games they have to, and then kind of lose the games they have to. You know what I mean? Like they're just like they're just there.
I swear they play every game at 6:30 on Big Ten Network.
Yeah,
they're never on any other time.
On like an off day, not like on a Tuesday too. Like,
Thursday at 6:30.
Yeah,
and they're also not a team, like, correct me if I'm wrong, like they're not a team you want to watch. If you can only watch one game, you're definitely not picking them.
Liddell's
good,
but
I feel like they're you're right.
Yeah.
They're just kind of there. They're like West Virginia last year. Like, okay, good, high seed, but no real championship aspirations. They're just kind of there to me.
Yeah.
They're like,
They
lost to Xavier. Like they've avoided mostly bad losses, right? At Rutgers, neutral to Florida, but they like had the win over Duke, Seton Hall. They're just a weird team. Like even the first game of the season, they went on a buzzer beater.
8th offense, 78 100%. Defense, screeching tempo. Like there's nothing about they're just there.
Like AJ Liddell is awesome, but yeah, you're right.
But they could like beat good teams if they wanted to.
That's I'm not patting their eyes.
I'm not even like shitting on them. It's just like they're
gonna be a 6 or a 5 or a 4 in the second round, and you're gonna be like, hey, I mean, they're gonna be in it. But
I'll say now they're either losing their first round game or making the Elite 8. Right. There is no in between. They will not lose round of 32 or Sweet 16.
But I really don't even think they're that. I don't think they're good enough to make that run. Like, if you told me of all the teams to make a list of who can make that run, Ohio State's like really down to me on that list. So I'm probably gonna bet against them in the first. What do you say? What's he laughing at?
You.
Oh yeah, I'm probably betting against them in the first round.
It's funny. It's a funny thing. I think it was a funny conversation, Rico.
Yeah, they smoked Minnesota. But yeah, Indiana in trouble, but they play at Ohio State on Saturday.
I love it. 2 teams who just don't want to win.
Sorry, that's Monday. That's Monday. Yeah, that's Indiana's next game. Ohio State does have Iowa at home, so that's.
Ooh, 7 o'clock start time too. We don't have a weird tip time for that game. Finally.
Good.
Yeah. But yeah, Wisconsin most likely going to be a top 4 seed, and it's Johnny Davis. It's the Johnny Davis show. He can carry them very far in this tournament, and I was fully wrong about Wisconsin at the beginning of the season. Yeah. So before we get to our interview with Colin Gillespie of Villanova, let's talk about that game. Number 10 Villanova 89, number 8 Providence 84. We weren't fortunate enough to be in that environment, but based off what I saw from John Fanta, Jeff Goodman, it was one of, if not the best atmospheres. I'd say probably Texas, and then this game, based off what they were saying for atmospheres.
I would throw maybe Auburn when they hosted Kentucky second. Texas Tech, no one's topping that.
I think a little bit of it counts if you win, too, the atmosphere. Like, you remember it better.
No, you do.
Don't get me wrong.
Right, you do.
The dunk that was an unbelievable environment. But, like, to do it and win is the sprinkle on the cake.
Yeah.
I just don't think we'll ever top Texas Tech. I mean, with Beard coming back.
Just the storyline.
The cops there. Like, those kids.
I'm going to be honest. You're right. Like you said, like, Goodman and Fantasy, like, a great atmosphere. I thought it was an okay atmosphere. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was like when I saw Arkansas at Auburn, I was like, whoa. And then when Texas, I was like, whoa. I was like, oh, that's a good atmosphere. I didn't think it was like an over the top one. I could be wrong.
I thought it was really good. I mean,
it was pretty sick.
It was good.
You also got to factor in like the weather, right? Like,
and I also
it's easier
think
to camp outside.
the way the arena is it's. I don't like the student section behind there.
He's got a little bit of a point
mean?
there. It's the Dunkin' Donuts Center there. It's not necessarily. It wasn't necessarily built for.
Yeah, it's a
It's
Providence.
a little too big.
It's a little separated. Okay,
Yeah, like
I give
when
you
it's
that.
a little small, like Bud Walton's, we went in it. It's so fucking right on you. Why is Duke
built on top? Yeah.
Why is Duke a good atmosphere? It's right on top of you. Like,
yeah, it's why I don't. Why argue about Rupp Arena? Like, that's too big. Like,
yeah, it's way too big
instead of just straight up. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Wow, thank you.
So Gillespie,
They do have whatever they make up in distance. What's the matter?
I mean, that was
I'm
beautiful
just laughing
between
at
us.
Marty.
I was just surprised you guys just like complimenting each other.
Whatever they lose in distance, they make up in beverages.
Yeah.
So that always
Yeah,
kind of helps.
The Taylor
tall
Swift,
boys
the
out there in
Taylor
the
Swift
stands.
shit is awesome too.
Yeah.
Also, I got to shout out Jon Fanta. He
texted me that clip.
That man
immediately.
had composure doing that video with that guy screaming in his ear the entire time. Like at first everyone's screaming. That one guy just kept going, Fanta, 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 and he was just stood. He didn't fucking move. That Fanta guy, we interviewed him. He took a shit on the toilet, and he was still doing the interview. That Fanta's a strong man.
We should have known Fanta was a strong man when there's that clip of him falling on his ass in the snow from a couple of years ago outside New York City. Like, that set Fanta up for success.
We're gonna have him here in a couple weeks for the Big East. He's
Fanta's always gonna be on.
Yeah. No, it's. I don't care who we have. Like we got Fanta. Sorry, Coach K's like, hey, I want to be on right now. Nope. Sorry, we got Fanta. It's Big East week, and he's gonna be here in person. Marty wanted to. We were staying up till 2:00 in the morning to like the press thing ran late. Like that was a hell of a night. But he's the best. Loves the Big East. We gotta have him on every year for the Big East.
Yeah, when we had him on last season, that was the night Providence season's ended, and Coach Cooley gave him the pizza.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's like showing the box. He's the best.
Yeah, that was awesome. All right, so this game, rarely do you have a 21-2 team feeling they were disrespected. Villanova gets the win.
What were the signs? Fuck Ken Palm, or Ken Palm's an idiot.
Ken Palm's a fraud.
Which
I said
Yeah.
at the beginning, like in December, like I'm still taking Villanova in the long run in the Big East.
They're league until it's not.
Hand up.
Yeah.
I said they were going to be a 6 seed this year.
Oh no, I was wrong. I'm also wrong about Villanova. Well,
You got to admit,
yeah,
your problems,
I'm not
Jake.
wrong yet. I'm still not wrong yet.
Yeah, I still feel pretty
What'd you say,
comfortable
fraud?
with my preseason
Beginning,
take.
I was wrong. I said Seton Hall's probably going to win. They've been hurt and all. They've been hurt, and Aiken's 29 years old. I didn't know that. I wish I knew. But like Villanova, I think the Big East is a little like that loss for Providence made me happy for Providence. Honestly, that it was close and like they should get respected
Just not
after
get
that
smoked.
loss. Yeah, and like that was also Gillespie doesn't hit that three. Like that was a huge three hit. Like they were in that game. Villanova though, it's still like I mean I know we talked to Gillespie and I talk about the depth to him because I had to bring that up. it's still a fucking concern. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it yesterday where they got bailed out because, Gillespie was awesome, but, like, Slater, I thought, was actually played a hell of a game. Like, he had that ridiculous
perfect
pass
from the field.
Pass to, he was I know Justin Moore scored 19, but wasn't in effect. Like, he wasn't super efficient. He wasn't typical Justin Moore. Dixon was in foul trouble. Yeah, Dixon was in foul trouble.
Yep.
Samuels was in foul trouble. So it was like they needed somebody, and they got Slater. The concern, though, is, like, that's it. Like, they have Caleb Daniels off the bench. Like, listen, I'm friendly with Ryan Arcidiacono. Love him. If you're relying on Chris Arcidiacono to be your guy off the bench, like, you're just not getting that much of a relief.
Yeah, but it works, though, and it is a tough conference. They're getting these tested to road games. The one thing we say it in the interview as well, but, like, have you looked at where the bracket is this year? There's a good chance if they win the Big East.
You were texting about it earlier.
Pittsburgh and Philly. And they finagled Wells Fargo where they didn't have enough games. Like, they're basically playing second weekend games at fucking home. Let's face it.
But the last time that it was in Philly, they shipped them out somewhere else. Same thing where they finagled it with Wells Fargo, but they shipped them out somewhere else.
Yeah, it's got to break that way. But if they get to a 3-line or they get to a 2,
they'll get Pittsburgh. They'll get Pittsburgh, but they won't get Philly.
I mean, what's their ceiling?
You got to be a 1 seed to get Philly.
What's their ceiling? You really have to be a 1 seed to get Philly? I think that matters.
It depends on who the one is. If it's an East Coast team like Duke, Duke's getting the 1 in the East.
Even if it's we're saying right now that you have 2 West Coast teams.
Yeah, but if you're the strongest, Reags, if you're the strongest 3 or the strongest 4, they wouldn't put you in Philly.
No, you're not going to punch the 1 seed.
Yeah, I guess
you're not going to punch the 1 seed.
Right. You're right.
They have to be a 1 or maybe a 2.
Yeah, you're right. All right.
Yeah, but so that's Villanova. I think obviously it's a big if. If they can stay out of foul trouble, if they can stay healthy, they have a chance to go back to the Final Four. It's hard to disagree with that, I feel like.
I still don't think they can win a title. Like, I stand on that.
That's fair, but Final Four.
I put them on my list because I can't go through another thing of fading Nova and fade Nova, and they're cutting the nets down. So they're on my list, but I agree with you. They're at the bottom of my list.
I'll say this about them making a Final Four. I wouldn't bat an eye if I saw them in New Orleans, but I don't think it's the likely outcome. If that makes sense.
I also think that the Big East is more down than I thought it was going to be. It started off hot with Seton Hall being up there. Like, Providence is with Providence not doing this, it'd be way more down. Like, Providence is also making it better, but, like, UConn has been struggling a little bit.
Xavier's Marquette's he's right.
Everyone's kind of like...
Listen, you'll get 6 or 7 teams in, but do any of them have a chance to win it all at this point? Maybe 1, maybe 2.
Maybe, I would say really 1.
Win it all? I don't know. I don't think any of them can win it all.
Right.
Like, I think you almost have to say Villanova. Like, you just have to at this point. But I honestly, I'm with you, Rico.
I'll stand on my feet and say I don't think they can.
I don't think they can too. But, like, just in, like, public, if you're looking at the Big East, you got to pick one. You're gonna say 1 at least. But I thought the Big East was gonna be 10 times better than it was. It's good, but it's not as good as I thought.
You know how
they just have a bunch of, like, those 20 to 30 ranked teams.
Yeah.
You know how conferences kind of in March all of a sudden you're like they're good for the year but aren't built for March. I actually hope
the Big Ten.
I hope there's a Big East. Well, it varies year to year. Like all of a sudden the
Right.
Big 12 falls apart. I remember Baylor. Like whatever,
Yeah,
it is what it is. All those conferences have had problems. I kind of hope a Big East team has an early game in the day, Thursday of the first round, like gets upset, or like Marquette if they lose, start betting against almost every Big East team because it would have told you. I know one thing is not the outlier, but you get what I'm saying. Like. Yeah. You start to see, hey, you know what? We were right about this conference.
Last year was the Pac-12. They were better than we thought.
That's not our fault.
No, I'm trying to do it the other way. Like, you see, like, Baylor's a 4, Kansas is a 3, and Texas Tech's a 2, and none of them make the first weekend. You start watching those conferences, like, get those high seeds during the year, but they're not built. It's basically a paper tiger, like they were frauds.
I'll tell you right now.
I think the Big East might be in trouble that way.
The Pac-12 has 1 team. That's it.
I mean, they'll have three, maybe 4 in the tournament, but they have one team that can win it all.
One team that can win it. Arizona's the only one that can win it. I said before the season, my biggest thing in the preseason was UCLA and Arizona are going to be overvalued in 2 teams that can't win a title.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get.
I'll still stand by it.
If Oregon gets in.
Wait, you said Arizona, though.
What did he say?
I think Arizona can win it. I'm saying like my take before the season was UCLA and Villanova were the two teams that were overvalued.
Yeah, I think they are. I still think that's strong. So that's a perfect segue. We'll get to the interview with Gillespie, and then let's talk about who can win a title.
All right. Earlier in the show, we talked about the top 10 battle between Villanova and Providence. And guys, now we got to talk to the man of the hour. It's Colin Gillespie, career high 33 points. Very excited to get to this one.
Yeah, no, he's a recurring guest. I can't wait to talk to him. I mean, he did fuck me last night on plus. I had Providence +4, but he's a killer. He's a stone cold killer with the three.
Yeah, I know we're supposed to do like the preview of the interview. We've already done the interview. I'm gonna like pull the curtain back here. Why would you say that when we literally just went through the whole thing but pretending that we did not talk to him yet? Because the point I have to make is how calm this fucking kid is. I just have to say it. That's not really giving anything away.
No, nothing giving away. But that
He's
was.
a stone cold killer.
We're keeping it in now, and I'm so red. It's so hot in here. That was insane the way you said. Well, we talked to him already. Meanwhile, we're just prefaced like I can't wait to talk to him.
You could have also said that at the end of the interview.
Could have said at the end when we do the end.
All right.
This fucking guy, he's got cobwebs in his head. Fucking come from suspension. All right, let's get to the goddamn interview.
Yeah. Here he is, Colin Gillespie. We want to welcome on a very special recurring guest on for the second straight season. It is the senior guard from number 10 Villanova, Colin Gillespie, coming off a career-high 33 points in the major win at Providence. The Wildcats 20-6, a very tight race with Providence for first place in the Big East. So, Colin, first off, back. Congrats on the big win. Let's start with that. Walk us through how you were able to have the best game of your life at this level in an environment like that.
Yeah, my teammates, those guys found me in spots where I could score, and our bigs did a really good job of setting screens. And it was just a fun environment to be in, honestly. College basketball, being back, having fans again, coming off of last year. So it was just a great environment to be in. I was happy to come out with a win. How
much fun is it to be the bad guy? Like there's what is it, 15,000?
I mean, yesterday
10,000, whatever's walking out of the dunk, and it's Colin Gillespie, scumbag. How much fun is that to be the villain?
No, it's a lot of fun. You gotta love going into environments like that with your teammates. It's kind of like you guys against the world. So we live for that stuff, and we enjoy it. We enjoy going on the road, just kind of sticking together and doing whatever it takes to kind of just steal in the end.
That's kind of how we are with this podcast, us against the world. We just don't go for 33. We're lucky to get 10.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, like even like that's where I think like being a senior as well helps you. Like you've played in those environments, and like that's like for the first time in a while the dunk is like they actually cared a lot. Everyone thinks they're getting better. They're unbelievable this year. And when you hit that three, bro, was it just quiet right away?
Honestly, I don't really remember.
Yeah, I was gonna say
we were going back on defense, and they had called a timeout. But environments in the Big East are always like that. They're super hostile. Especially this year, coming off last year with no fans. But the dunk is always like that from the 5 years that I've been here. We played there. I think I played there 3 times. And it's always been crazy.
So walk us through, of course, this time last year, you probably thought this is the end of the road for your college career. And then the torn MCL happens, and you're out for the season. You see your guys go to the Sweet 16. I'd imagine it was a very easy decision for you to have the COVID year plus the injury. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but in the last year, how special has it been to have this bonus year, considering you guys are in a great position to go back to the Final Four?
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing in disguise, getting an extra year after missing the end last year with my injury. It sucked watching those guys from the sidelines. But, yeah, you're right. It was definitely an easier decision for me, just wanting to get healthy before trying to make the next step and go to the next level. But I wanted to get healthy first, and there was no better place to do it than here at Villanova with the people that I've been around for a while. So it wasn't a hard decision at all.
Yeah, it's weird because it's not really like you don't want to say it's a second chance, but it's like it's another. You saw it again, like how much was taken away recently.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah, it's interesting that you just like how are you balancing that of like knowing how much is hanging in the balance and like just kind of being grateful that you have the opportunity to be back as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. It puts everything into perspective. When you're watching, like I was watching Big East tournament from my bed when they were playing, right? I got surgery the day before. So And then I couldn't sit with them on the sideline when they were playing against Baylor because of COVID. So it definitely puts everything in perspective. I'm just blessed to be out there on the floor again. And that's really all that it is. I'm just happy to be able to play again and be with my teammates.
I know how that feels.
Again, yeah, if you didn't know, Rico threw a high noon can at someone's head, and now he feels grateful to be back. He was suspended, so this is his first interview back.
The 30-day bid, I missed a couple of good guests, so I'm happy to have my friend back. Yeah, that's why I asked. Literally, I was looking for more advice.
It's good. Yeah. You're also 32.
You can learn from younger. I mean, fucking Einstein was solving shit at 12. He's a smart guy. He goes to Villanova. You can't even spell Villanova. Go to your question.
To get into, if someone on a podcast was just like, Villanova is really good, but they have no depth, what would you say to them?
We do have depth. But I mean, it's just the way that it is around here. It's the culture. Coach trusts his older guys, but our younger guys are ready, and you put them in positions where, like last year, Arch stepped up in a big way when I went down and Justin went down. Those guys are ready. They do it all year throughout practice. They push us. They make us better, and a lot of the time that's some of the reasons why we win our games and win close games is because those guys kind of do a great job of preparing us, doing the scout and stuff like that. So. And then you see the development of each year. A guy like Brandon Slater and Jermaine Samuels, those guys have developed each year and have gotten better. But the guys off the bench, like guys like Brian, Arch, and a young guy like Jordan Longino, those guys are ready. And then the three other freshmen. And obviously we have Caleb coming off the bench, he's a senior now, so he's been in college basketball for 4 years. But it really just depends on the game and who we're playing and who coach wants to go with. But he has trust in anybody coming off the bench as well as the rest of our team.
So in other words, I could go fuck myself pretty much.
Well, no, I mean, we kind of had the same thing. Like in the beginning of the year, we were like, it's Villanova, yeah, they're good, and it's obviously Jay Wright, and you're an unbelievable player, but it's like, a little bit of the depth. You worry. And then the next thing you know, it's like death, taxes, Villanova. Here you are, top of the Big East. Like,
they prove you wrong every time.
Every time, yeah. It's interesting, like, how he's built that culture. And, like, I wonder, like you said, like, guys step up, but does he have those conversations with guys like, hey, listen, you're the 7th or 8th guy, it's deep in the rotation, or the 8th and 9th guy, it's deep in the rotation. But, like, here's where we can use you. You can be a defensive stopper. Like, I'm going to rely on you for spells late in the game. Like, it seems like he runs it like a corporation because obviously everybody's happy. You don't see this, like, mass exodus of transfers, and obviously he's hanging fucking banners. So it's like it seems like he runs it like a corporation. I'm just interested to see, like, how that is. And obviously, like, it's working out. So.
Yeah, no, guys believe in it. And they've seen guys do it before and guys being in those situations before. Guys who have redshirted, who've been on the bench and then eventually became starters. But, yeah, we talk about it all the time. Like, you have to be ready at any moment. Coach will just throw you in, no matter what game it is, who we're playing. If we need a spark off the bench, he's ready to bring those guys in and bring us great energy. So we talk about that all the time. He's just always on them to stay ready, tells them that we believe in you, and he'll just throw them in there at any time. So. Yeah, we definitely talk about that all the time.
I think we asked you this last year, but it's worth reiterating. Is it still weird for your eyes to see Jay Wright not wear a suit on the sidelines? Do you think he'll ever make the change back?
I don't think he will. I know a lot of people say stuff about it, and I see people say stuff about it, but I think he's comfortable in he doesn't have to get all dressed up. And he also did – his tailor actually passed away, so – I don't know if he's going with another guy, like if he wants to go with another.
Oh, wow.
That's tough.
That's like cheating on your wife.
You can't do that.
Yeah. So
especially him. That guy's he's the suit guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But no, he's comfortable in the quarter zip and the pants. I mean, it's a good look for our coaches. We got all the Nike stuff, and those guys they look fine over there on the bench without the suits.
I have one thing, just you being back and you trying to like say fucking basketball terms to him was unbelievable. You trying because you're a basketball lifer, huh?
Basketball lifer.
That's what you just said. Oh, spills and defensive stopper and all this fucking nonsense. I forget how how ridiculous you are on this podcast.
I think you deflect because you don't know what a defensive spell is.
I know exactly what it is. I'm a fucking idiot. Second, how annoying is it when people call you Connor all the time?
I really don't care, honestly.
Didn't they put that on like a graphic? Like, didn't they actually?
Yeah, I think it was a couple weeks ago, and now people are like starting to say it a bunch of times, but I don't really. It doesn't bother me at all.
Connor does kind of go into goes into Gillespie. It sounds
Gives
like
me
a good
bad
name.
memories as a Met
My
fan.
mom would probably be pissed though.
Yeah, she'd be
Mom would
pissed.
definitely be pissed.
Have you been in touch with Coach Neptune at all?
Oh yeah, I have. He's doing a great job down there. It's a good spot for him. It's like he embodies that area and that culture. He's from New York, so he's doing a really good job down there.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him, obviously, at Fordham. What was the relationship like with him? Was he kind of the guy when Jay Wright got mad at you send him to him? Or, like, was he the guy before, like, he just a workhorse before practice? Like, what was his relationship with most of the players?
Yeah, he was definitely a player's guy. Like, you would go to him, be able to talk to him about anything. And he also was helping guys work out all the time. He's a great coach. He's a guy you could go to at any time. I had a great relationship with Nep, and definitely when Coach got mad at me, I would go talk to Nep, and he'd be able to calm me down. Or if me were not on the best terms, not getting along in a game or disagreeing about something, he'd just be like, "Yo, like we need you out there, like get it right." So
that's a question I have about Coach Wright too. Like, I always wonder that with college basketball play because he's like an elite coach, obviously. If you do, like, you've been there for 5 years now, but maybe even earlier on, would you be able to just to go up to Coach Wright and be like, "Hey, like I have an idea or I have a problem with this"? Like, is he approachable like that?
Yeah, definitely, especially with his older guys. He'll tell you that too, like to your face. When you're a junior or senior in the program and you've been in tight games and he knows that you're dialed in on the scouting report and you know the concepts and have the habits down, you could go to him with an idea that you have and definitely talk to him just with stuff that you see in a game because he trusts his older guys.
Last summer, you were one of the first big-name athletes to join Barstool Athletics when Dave launched it in July. How's that been going? And is there any update on if you're back on Dave's good side? If those don't remember, I think you screwed him out of a big bet, 2 champ weeks ago or something like that?
I remember too, because he did me too.
I think it might have been like 3 years ago. But, yeah, I mean, that was just something that was kind of like very random. I saw it on my Instagram, and I was like, I responded to Dave, and I was like, "What is this?" And he was like, "It's our new thing. Like, you want to be on it? Let's do it." And I was like, "All right."
Sounds
I
good.
didn't really know what it was or what it entailed, but I was just like, "Sure, why not?" Because it was real early in the NIL stuff, so I was just like, why not?
That's a Barstool. That's how Barstool. Everyone thinks we have like we're very organized. We do these things. Not many people think that, but like that's just like, yeah. Do you want to be a part of it? Sure. Here's some sweatpants and fucking you're a Barstool athlete.
Some sweatpants, a sweatshirt, and a t-shirt.
You're good.
You can meet Glenny Bowles.
But I think I'm on his good side.
Definitely.
I might be.
You are. Yeah, you are. I mean, you were. I mean, hey, you fucked me
I
too.
made my way back.
You made your way back. We're friends now, even though I remember that day. That's when I first started working here, and that was so fucking funny. It's like, why is this fucking guy shooting this?
I got on the bus and just got a tweet, and I was like,
All right, here we go.
I got 2 more. Off of that NIL, I saw you linked up with Outback.
Yeah, that one was interesting too. It was like across the country. It was 2 players from Duke, 2 from North Carolina, Michigan, Maryland, and then Villanova, and might have been 1 more. But yeah, that was interesting. They got a player from the men's and women's team from each side, and kind of just did a deal with Outback, and it was cool.
How do you order your steak?
Medium well.
Medium well. What are you, a fucking nut job? What does that even mean?
How about this?
Does that mean it's like burnt?
Medium rare is how I order
no.
it. But I'm with Big Cat the other night. He orders it medium rare plus. And that's like a bougie type of order.
Someone said you
I've
do
never
it like.
heard that.
Neither did I till Friday night.
What about, you ever heard when it's
I would do medium or medium well.
Not medium rare?
I do medium.
Nah.
What are you, a health nut?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I play D1 basketball.
I have to be.
I think, did you ever hear something called like the Pittsburgh?
No.
I went to dinner the other night and someone said like, give me the, I was like, that's an option?
What's that?
I don't know. I think it's like it's like charcoal on the end, and it's fucking medium. It was unbelievable.
It's weird.
Yeah, I think it's classy shit. I'm not ready for that. Medium well, I might have to walk out of Outback with you if you get the blooming onion at least.
No.
Oh my god. I don't know if I could finish the interview.
We'll get him. He still owes us a round of golf. We'll get him like after his playing days or when he can in a break in the summer. We'll get him a blooming.
We'll golf and then we'll go to Outback.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I know. So I'll cover my eyes when you say medium well.
You're obviously a big Philly guy. What are your thoughts on the blockbuster trade, Simmons and Harden? Are you a fan or no?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I think both sides got what they wanted. Obviously, I didn't like look too much into it, but
We got a Barstool bar coming in Philly, by the way. So after your playing days, we'll hang out there. It's sick. I went there the other day. It's fucking unbelievable. It's not open.
I saw that. Yeah.
where's it at?
It's in Old City.
Okay.
I don't know exactly where it is, but it's somewhere around there.
Last one, like we talked about it. We'll be honest. Like early in the year, we worried about the depth. We a couple of losses. It's like Villanova. I don't know. Again, you're there. The bracket's behind Jake. There's a first weekend site in Pittsburgh, and there's a regional in Philly. Doesn't it scream like this one's like lining up for Villanova, having a fucking home court all the way through? Have you guys looked that far or?
Nah, we never looked that far ahead.
I disagree a little because I heard from a little birdie today that you only played 3 games in the Wells Fargo so that you could be in that regional. So it's a little bit of a white lie to say that you didn't look that far ahead. So admit that.
I never looked that far ahead. I don't know if other people around here.
That's the corporation.
That's
You're
smart.
going to have to talk to the regional manager. Look at this. This is how they run this shit. He's their top salesman. Talk to this guy, talk to that guy. I'm never going to
Fortune 500 company, Rico.
Well, we don't talk about that. He insults me. But they're like the fucking mob. Nobody's taking the heat for this. This is great.
Oh, yeah, that one's above me. I don't look that far ahead.
All right.
I got
Somebody did.
Here's Saturday.
I do a question. One of my last question is because I'm a Duke fan, so I don't like you guys very much usually in the tournament. But with like how these teams like you, Villanova, Kentucky, Duke, you always, no matter who the fuck you play, have a target on your back. Like no matter what, because you get everyone's best shot. Now you've been there for 5 years now. It's like, do you feel like that's always been it? Like you play Portland and you'll get their best shot, even if they suck. You know what I mean? Like, isn't it harder for a team like a blue blood like you guys to be in that situation?
Yeah, but I mean that's what you got to expect.
Yeah.
You got every night because every team is coming after you, and you're gonna get everybody's best shot for sure. So
makes them tougher too.
Yeah.
Every night.
Makes you tougher too, right?
Yeah, definitely. Sure.
All right, well, that's Colin Gillespie, the number 10 Villanova senior guard. Villanova on a 4-game winning streak, hosting Georgetown on Saturday. Another example. They're winless in conference play. You got to expect their best shot, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're a great team too. They had a lot of good wins out of conference.
I also realized that I asked that Connor and Colin question. I texted their media guy Mike yesterday, and I looked at my first text. I said, "Hey, we want Connor."
Connor?
Yeah, I said Connor.
It's just illiterate. It's not a shot at you or your mom. He's just illiterate.
Yeah, that's just me being a moron.
Yeah, exactly. So, we'll have to see. We'll have to see you in a couple of weeks. You'll be right here, right?
Yeah, New York, Big East tournament.
Yeah, come by.
Absolutely. Well, Villanova, a very good chance to be that number 1 seed at Madison Square Garden in a couple of weeks. Colin, not Connor, we appreciate the time. Good luck down the stretch here.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, that was Colin Gillespie of Villanova coming off the game of his life. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm just taken back by how calm he was, right, Marty?
Yeah, I loved him, how calm he was. You know, I didn't know. We didn't talk to him before that. We talked before this entire thing. But, yeah, he was so calm. He was very calm in the fucking interview.
I'm excited to talk to him. I can't wait to talk to him.
All right, let's move on with the rest of the show.
This segment, we're going to do a segment right now of I want to go through, I'm going to be on the Barstool Sportsbook, do from the top teams of odds and stuff, which is crazy, some of these odds, honestly. There's so many. This is a year you're going to want to bet a flyer and be like, they can definitely win it at that rate. So I want to go through it. Everyone, if you want to say no, speak up about them winning a championship. Okay?
Quickly.
Yes or no?
Yeah. So
Quickly.
Gonzaga, all yes.
Yes.
First of all, they are plus 500. The next is Kentucky at plus 850. That's insane. I
I have
really
a
think it's
30-1
weird.
Kentucky on the Barstool Sportsbook.
Auburn, Arizona and Auburn are 900. I think both of them can win it.
I'm holding Auburn.
Both, yes.
I'm holding Auburn at 40.
I have Auburn.
I got it on
too.
that Sunday right before it dropped to 20.
Purdue plus 1050.
No.
I agree. No.
I still
I
say yes.
I'm on yes.
I mean,
Depth
I've
and
been
experience.
seeing these
What's their
defense-
defensive efficiency?
I'm just saying depth and you can throw out
113th.
a lot
No
of
thanks.
analytics in March because depth and experience go the longest
It's
way.
20 years
and
of
they have
analytics.
an elite offense.
They have the best. They have the best offense in the country. But 113th, it worries me.
losing almost like at home against Maryland. They just didn't look as good. They've been looking a lot more shaky. But
Painter has also never
2-2.
seen a bracket that he wants to blow up.
I have another no.
That he doesn't want to blow up. Loves blowing up brackets.
I have another no. Baylor plus 1200. I say
Yeah,
no.
JTT, I say no.
Not
And
with
just
the
based
two-
off the fact.
Yeah, not with the
Gators,
two injuries.
The Gators back to back. Is
I
anyone
was
ever
going to say,
going to touch that again?
Yeah, right. It's hard to go back to back. Can I say TBD until I see how they look without?
Nope.
They looked good in the second half against Texas.
I know.
No, it's a very simple answer, Reags. They can win the title, but we're worried without the injuries
I
right now.
don't-
They're
I don't
in
think
a
they can.
holding pattern. Yeah, and I don't think
Yeah,
they're going
right.
with the injuries. They're in a holding
I
pattern.
don't think they went with the injuries.
Still a tough out. Very tough out.
Duke plus 1200.
Yeah, deeply. Think they need a lot of breaks.
You
Just
really,
based off the storyline factor, I think they can win it all.
100% they can win it all.
Bobby.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I'm on the fence.
You
I'm
can't
on the
see
fence.
it, you asshole.
They have the four
How do
stars
you
that
say
can do
Kentucky
it, but
and Duke are like this, and you say they can't fucking win it?
because one's injury concerns, one's
I fucking hate you.
court concerns.
I hate you so goddamn much. Oh my god.
No, fuck Duke. I'm out.
That's insane. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, I'm out on Kentucky too. Take my vote back.
What's next?
Next we have one sec, sorry. Kansas.
Yes.
Yes for me.
Yes.
Then it's UCLA. I
No.
say no.
No.
We've all been vocal about that. Illinois 2300.
I think they can make the Final Four.
Need some break. But
This
once
is
you
not the
get there,
Final
that
Four,
means
this
you
is
have to say they
championship.
can win a championship. So, yes.
I don't think they can win a championship. I don't think they need one more just stability at guard.
They got a good coach that they all love, and they got a player who
know,
could dominate
I know,
a fucking tournament.
I don't think they can. I'm saying no.
They're at the bottom of the list.
Carmelo's
but
got
I
to
think
stay
they can.
healthy too.
I think they can.
I think it's good value at 2,300.
Villanova 2600 and Texas Tech 3000.
On both.
I think Texas Tech can.
I'm going to say yes to both because Villanova you can't exclude. Texas Tech worries me. First time coach. He's his first head coach, correct?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I
At this level, yeah.
worry a little bit about them, but they're built for the tournament to play defense, get in your shorts, and
Yeah, I say yes for
I
Villanova.
don't don't trust their offense enough.
fair, but they do have a lot of players. They have players.
They're deep. I say no to both of these. Houston and Michigan State.
No.
I think it's no to everybody else.
No,
Sucks to say
absolutely.
no to
I don't.
Izzo,
I don't
but-
think it's no to everybody else. I
Who else do
seriously
you
don't.
like?
I seriously think that next is Tennessee and Texas. I really do think Texas can do it.
I have Texas.
Even
no.
with Trey Mitchell leaving the team.
Yes,
now, though?
no
yes. That's another thing on them. I mean, like, let's play for them.
Texas, no.
Fuck it, I
Texas.
still got to buy into Texas. I still got to buy into Texas.
Thank you. And then no joke though, like there is teams where it's like Arkansas 7,500.
I put yes.
That-
Musselman figures out a way to get them better as the year goes on.
Like I'm not saying
Yeah.
like I'm not like.
What about UConn?
What about this? UConn at plus 8,000.
I had UConn listed. I don't think they're at the bottom of the list, but I think they're up there.
But I'm just saying there's a
What's
lot
Bama?
of value.
You're just skipping over Bama?
Bama's 5,500. I did skip over them.
Okay.
It
I
is
say
crazy that North Carolina has better odds than Providence.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah, I
even
mean-
gotten to Providence yet. That's what I'm saying. Like
I might take Providence at that's the value plus 9,000.
That would be-
top 10 team.
That's also one you're just rooting for.
Oregon's plus 10,000.
Yeah.
So that's good value.
100 to 1. I also have one more on here. The Iowa Hawkeyes. We're going there Tuesday. They can win a national championship.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Unt-
I'm in.
Wednesday, I might be off the train.
Yeah.
But till Tuesday, Iowa can
they
win a national
absolutely cannot.
championship.
Hey,
They absolutely cannot.
everyone though.
Way to be, Riggs. That's why you don't get invited on the fucking nice trips. Because you're going to go there and shit in there fucking. You walk in and say, oh, what a beautiful house. Can I use the bathroom? You fucking skell.
Sometimes you eat a little too much food.
Iowa Live
Marty
show.
knows that from yesterday.
Yeah, I do. Iowa Live show at Summit, 4:30 on Tuesday. We are doing the show with Luka Garza before he is even getting inducted. We have a lot of things planned for that show, so come out. We appreciate you all. And want to get to the Wednesday games?
All right, before we wrap up the show with our Wednesday night recap, we want to remind you that this podcast, the Barstool Bench Mob, is brought to you by Bird Dogs. I have Bird Dogs. I have a package waiting at my desk for when I get back to New York. I'm going to open that thing. The first thing I do when I get back to our office is open that Bird Dogs box. Reags, Rico, you guys each have as well?
Yeah, so I'm on thin ice, but I will say that package, now that you told me where it is, the fact that I already got my Bird Dogs, I don't think your package is going to be sitting there when you get there because it's that good. So just a heads up. It's that good.
Yeah, they are. I have a pair of the joggers, I have a pair of the khaki pants, and a pair of they're not khaki colored, but khaki shorts. Unbelievable, all three of them. They're perfect because the joggers are nice enough. You can wear them, not out, but you can wear them out to a little get together and you look like you're wearing a pair of jeans almost. So you can't go wrong with them.
Yeah. Well, now I guess I have to hide my Bird Dogs or else Rico's going to beat me to it and steal my Bird Dogs. So Bird Dogs, if you're listening, please send me more because Rico's about to steal mine. But no, the joggers are amazing. The super soft, high quality beanie as well. So go to birddogs.com, enter promo code BENCH, and they'll throw in a free Bird Dogs whistle tip football. That's birddogs.com, promo code BENCH. And boom, a free Bird Dogs whistle tip football with your pair of Bird Dogs. Stay warm and comfortable this winter in your Bird Dogs. All right.
Elite golf pants, Reags, as well. Those could definitely be golf pants.
Yeah, you can. I've seen people wear joggers out there. Yeah, you can absolutely get away with wearing the joggers on the course.
Oh, I got the joggers and a pair of dress pants. I was saying more like the dress. They're like you said, you look good on a Saturday night, but you also can wear them on the golf course.
Yeah, even the khakis, you can wear them out with a blazer and wear them to a steakhouse. Yeah, you can absolutely get away with it.
Versatile.
That's totally fair. All right, so there's two more key games I want to talk about for Wednesday night. We'll start off with the late game. In the Big 12, Texas Tech wins by 10 points. The final score, 83-73. Number 11, Texas Tech, 83. Baylor, 73. Number 7, Baylor. Earlier in the show, I said I was out on Baylor not being able to win it all because
I agree.
Johnson. Did you switch? You said yes earlier?
I said I was TBD. I needed to see how they looked. It's still TBD because I want to see can LJ Cryer get back to full strength, or 100%. He obviously played a little bit, but I'm starting to lean towards Baylor's really good, but I don't know if they can win a title good. Rico? And like Jake said earlier, it's so hard to go back to back.
I think it's more that they have the talent to win back to back. Obviously, Chema Chachua being out is a major. Can they get over that?
I thought you just mailed. You didn't even bother trying. You just made your own thing up.
What? We're never gonna get it. Yeah. What did I say?
Chema Chachua.
You were too far off. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not. Marty is way worse.
Yeah.
But like you said, I do think the element of back to back is really difficult. But Scott Drew's been right there, man. You know what I mean? They're on a 4-year power run.
And even before that, there was a stretch where, remember he kept losing in the Elite Eight? It was almost like Sean Miller-esque where, he would make these runs and he just couldn't get there.
He got a really bad draw. It's probably going back 10 years. He got a really, really, really bad draw with you guys, I think, in 2000.
It was 10 years ago. We beat them in the Elite Eight.
In 12, right? Yeah. I thought that was the Sweet 16.
No, we beat Indiana in the Sweet 16.
I couldn't even tell you who was on that Baylor team. I just know that I loved them. They were a 3, right?
They were the 3.
Yep.
Or were they the 2? I think they were the 3 in that, though.
They were 3.
What year is this?
2012.
The year Kentucky
They
won.
were loaded. And then Kentucky won. And I feel like if they were in any other bracket, they would have got all the way through.
They had Pierre Jackson, Perry Jones, Quincy Acey.
Okay.
Brady Heslip. Like, yeah, that was.
Oh,
They were.
Oh my God!
was
What a
Brady
throwback.
Heslip was a star.
Brady Heslip. What a throwback.
Heslip.
Anyway, yeah, but like it's all matchups. But I do think it is very difficult to go back to back, and like that looming over your head. Baylor's going to be right there. Let's face it. Like, they're going to be right there. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of things adding up here. They're probably not my pick to win the title, but they're a tough out. They're a very good team.
Yeah, like if they make a Final Four, no one should be surprised, right? Like I think that's all fair. We can agree on that. Where if they're one of the teams that win 4 to get to a Final Four, you're like, yeah, I can absolutely see it. Like they have pros. They have, James Akinjo's probably going to be on an All-American team. They know their roles. I think, I still think Scott Drew might be underrated as a coach. But I don't know, 6. I'll tell you what, my window of who I think could win is just getting smaller. Like in terms of how many teams total.
Yeah, I mean, look, I wouldn't be shocked if they got to the Final Four again. But listen, Jonathan John Machachua, like last year, he was pretty much a role player. This year, kind of too, but he's been productive this season. I mean, he had 21 the game before he got hurt. He scored in double figures in about half their games this season. Like, it's a significant loss. I don't know.
The one nice thing is like Flo Thamba does fill in kind of perfectly for him, though. You know what I mean? Like when you look at like other Final Four contenders, if they lose a starter, how many have a backup that is just kind of, I don't want to say like the same exact player, but close enough to where you're like, okay, the drop off isn't the end of the world.
Right. No, I mean, look.
So that's the only positive I can say about the situation with that.
Right. I mean, if it was Meyer, if it was Akinjo who were out for the season, I think it would be a much easier discussion. So I'm going to cautiously close the door on them winning it all, but think they can still make to the Final Four.
What about the other side of the coin here?
Yeah, Texas Tech, I mean, look. For
83 and Marco Santa Silva doesn't score.
I was more impressed with the fact that they got to 83. Like what I said earlier, I'm starting to kind of turn a little bit. I don't want to overreact to just one game, especially at home. But like the reason I don't want to say I'm down on Texas Tech. The reason I said I wouldn't pick Texas Tech to win a title is I didn't think they had enough offensively.
How about this? Correct me if I'm wrong.
To get there.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I saw it right before the half. Did they go 7 minutes without a field goal or 7 minutes without a point in the first half and still scored 83? There was definitely that scroll like late. They didn't score, or maybe it was it field goals?
It had to be. Let me pull up the game log.
The first half?
It had to be.
1 minute. Okay, hold on. Free throw.
Yeah, they didn't really go on a scoring drought in the first half, but it
all right,
scoring at points.
8-18. Terrence Shannon makes a dunk to cut it to 21-19. Oh, I'm sorry. Arms makes a jumper at 7 minutes. Then they go free throw all the way out until
free throws.
One till the end of the half.
Free throw.
So
free
7
throw,
minutes.
Free throw.
No field goals for 7 minutes and 83 points.
That's insane. I didn't for whatever reason I just didn't realize that they did that.
I saw that. I know it doesn't feel like it, but I saw it, and like you said, like I don't know, man.
Well, I guess like it was 39-32 at half, like 32 points. Like it's not like they were like lighting it up or anything. So but yeah, like if you tell me Texas Tech scores 83, I'm sitting there going, oh, they just went like they shot 50% from 3 and all that. You never think that with the
51 in the second half. I mean.
Yeah, and listen, everything that they wanted out of O'Banner, he's coming along. I know we said like he was overrated a little while ago. He's putting it together, and they're right there. They're right there.
I'll tell you who loves this result: Kansas. It's now a 2-game lead in the loss column for first place. So I know the streak was broken a few years ago, but they're certainly feeling good about that regular season title.
It's also, I'll tell you what, we touched on a little earlier in the show, but with obviously the Saturday bracket release coming up, this was a huge, I'm curious to see how Baylor and Texas Tech fall in the standings now.
I would say Baylor is going to be I think they'll both be 2 seeds.
Kentucky, Duke. So we agree there are 3 locks for 1 seeds, right? As of right now.
Gonzaga, Auburn, Arizona.
Yeah, correct. And then it's Kansas, Kentucky, Baylor, Purdue,
Villanova
Duke.
now.
I still Duke, Texas Tech. I think Villanova would be right behind that as a 3. So you got what I list 5 teams or 6 teams for 5 spots.
Yeah.
I think we.
So I'm curious to see just how it all falls because it's like this. We're starting to get into the part of the year where it's like the domino effects all coming in.
I think we touched on it too quickly before. Mark Adams hadn't been a head coach. He was for a brief.
Not at this level, yeah.
Texas Pan American back in fucking like 92, 92
how about
or 97.
How about him owning or being the GM of the minor league hockey team?
Still, or like that was
no, when he took a sabbatical from coaching basketball, that's what he did.
Rico, you're leaving out the fact that he went 1-25 in 1997 with Texas Pan American.
I see 3-25.
I was looking at Ken Paul.
Conference was 1-17. He probably got wins over fucking like Flagler or some of these schools we fucking saw in the past before.
Yeah,
Rico, I told them when you were gone. Did you know he's a Golden Gloves boxer?
No.
We've got to have him on. We were trying to get him on after the Texas game. The scheduling didn't work out, but he would be awesome.
He's got to be one of like the 5 most intriguing coaches, like interesting coaches with his entire backstory.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's that game. Kansas feeling good in the Big 12. Texas Tech right now. I mean, do you guys still put Baylor in that top tier with those 2 teams? Or it's just tough. You got to see a longer
I think they're
sample with the injury.
I think they're still in it, but
they're still, like I said, they're
still in that top tier. They're hovering though.
It's hard to win. It's hard to win down a guy, but think they'll be right there.
Yeah, that's fair.
I really do. Like tell me they get knocked out in the first weekend, I'll be shocked. Tell me
you think they lose to a 6 seed and as a 3 seed that you're shocked? If they lose to UConn as a 6 seed UConn, a 3 seed Baylor, you're shocked by that?
Oh, all right, so matchup dependent. Dependent. I'll probably still be shocked. Not shocked, but like whatever. But you tell me you lose in the Sweet 16 to a very tough 1 or a very tough 2, or losing the Elite 8. Like they just don't have enough. That's where I think Baylor's going to be. I don't actually, Jake. I think they get past the UConn. I know we love Hurley, but like it would surprise me if they lost to a team like that.
Interesting.
Would it?
Experience-wise, a little bit. It's splitting hairs. We're splitting hairs.
Right.
It's all matchup dependent. But gun to head, I think they get out of the first weekend, even without JTT.
Well, yeah, as long as Cryer is healthy. If Cryer gets back to 100%, then I'm absolutely going to put him in my like Sweet 16.
Yeah. All right, that's fair. And then the other game of note. Rutgers is. I half jokingly tweeted this at halftime when they're up by 9. I said they're the best team in the Big Ten. I don't think you can immediately shoot that down right now, right?
They're the hottest team in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
if not the country.
They beat all the top teams.
I'm a little worried. I texted a player and a coach on Rutgers and said, "Hey, save one for us next Saturday." Like, are they running out of fucking ammo here? Or are we going to like the ultimate party now that they've won all these upsets and it's just another one on the cake? You know what I mean? Like, people keep being like, how could they do it? Pikel's fucking good. They got a bunch of really good players. The rack, like, it's a weird. You ever been there, Reags? Jake, you ever been there?
No, I have. Well,
next week, live show, Wisconsin. We'll be there.
Bro, I went to watch a buddy of mine play for Notre Dame there. Okay, we had literally the last row. Dead center, but one of the last rows up top. It's like climbing a ladder straight up. It doesn't look like it gets further away. You just kind of get higher.
Yeah.
It's so fucking nutty. It's nutty place, man. I could see how it's a home court advantage. It's nutty. And this was like 12 years ago when they were horrific in the bottom of the Big East. Horrific.
So you think about this, though. We mentioned about what they're doing. Listen to who their losses are that are preventing them from being in first place in the Big Ten. Minnesota, Maryland, Penn State, and Northwestern.
Oh my god!
Like there's another world where if Rutgers just plays consistent,
They're 12-3.
They're leading the Big Ten.
Who did they beat in the first round last year?
Clemson.
It was the 7-10 game, yeah. Clemson.
Okay, Clemson. And then I know that they had Houston on the fucking ropes.
They had that game. They blew
beat
that
them.
game. Yeah. That game was gone. Syracuse would be in the Final Four right now if that was the case.
God, can you imagine that disgusting bracket if that happened? We would have had
Loyola,
Oregon State,
Syracuse.
Rutgers, and Syracuse.
Yeah.
I like that, though, when it fully blows up.
Disagree.
You're such a fucking unfun asshole.
I want
What
to
do
see
you
the best
mean?
teams.
What can you
I like seeing
possibly...
because
What can you possibly say? Those teams lost. Like, what are you? We're supposed
think
to
about how many bad games you get them. Like,
No,
think about, like the
Reags.
Kansas State Loyola Elite Eight.
You are
guy
butthurt over Kentucky not taking care of business against Kansas State in that wide open region, 2018, right?
I mean, Cincinnati should be way more upset than I am about that because they blew that game to Nevada, and that's when they were good. But would you rather have that, or would you have the Elite Eight where it's the Purdue Virginia game?
You can still get those good games.
I like my mayhem in the first round, a little bit of the first weekend, but I want them like the elite teams playing in Elite Eight and Final Four.
You wouldn't be excited to see Duke as a 2 seed lose to number 15?
Okay. Well, yeah, I want mayhem.
Look at what was Oral Roberts, Arkansas last year? It was a fucking war.
Yeah.
Right, but then like imagine if they had to go play Baylor in the Elite Eight.
Okay.
Baylor wins that game by 100.
All right, I guess I don't know. It's whatever.
I don't dislike Cinderella. I think it's awesome.
You can't punish.
I don't like the whole wide open. Like that bottom right bracket. If that happened last year with Rutgers holding on, that would have been you're sitting there going, all right, let's get Rutgers Syracuse fired up here on this Sweet 16.
I would love it. Syracuse would have been
awesome.
Entering that second weekend, Syracuse would have been the favorite to make the Final Four.
Where was that game? Oh, it was obviously played in Indianapolis. They should have figured out a way to play it like halfway in between, and
just somewhere in like Albany or something.
Yeah.
Like
fucking.
I think one of these years, if one of these Cinderellas just wins it all and just turns the sport upside down, that would be incredible. Imagine if Chicago won it all.
Let me be clear. I'm not like anti that. I do think it is like the mayhem. It can be fun. It's just I personally want to see. As a fan, I want to see the best teams play more than mayhem.
Yeah, that's totally fair. But no, Rutgers, 4 ranked wins in a row. Yes, 3 of them are at home, but you have wins at Wisconsin. I know Maryland's not really a tournament team, but that's still impressive. But the fact that only one of those 4 in this 4-game winning streak, the Ohio State game's by 2 points. The others are pretty convincing. Like you won out Wisconsin by 8. Home versus Illinois double digits. You beat Michigan State by 21. Like they're not just beating these teams; they're smoking them.
Their closest game was like a squeaking out one at Nebraska. Nebraska's awful.
But what do we think of this team's makeup if they do get in? Is this like a kind of like a real hot streak at home? Do they have the makeup? I mean, Harper and Baker are obviously really good. Like Peichel's a good coach. They got snake bitten last year. Is this one of those, it's a fun story and they get in and then they're a lame duck? Or, are we really buying this team to be, watch out in the tournament?
I mean,
next 2 games, Purdue at Michigan. If they can take one of them, even at Michigan, though Michigan...
They're already ahead of the 8 ball winning this one. This was one we probably thought was a loss.
No, I'm saying in terms of the narrative.
Of
the road.
Okay.
At Purdue and at Michigan the next week. If they can take one of those and put that to rest a little bit...
I'm gonna say something
bad to say about.
I'm gonna say something crazy. Is losing to Michigan a bad loss at this
on the
point?
road? Yeah, Michigan's still.
I'm having a little. I
yeah.
got it. I'm having a little fun with Michigan. We have friends
Right,
there,
but that's-
obviously, but I'm having a little fun with Michigan struggles and Rutgers rise. You look, who's the better team right now? Rutgers is probably supposed. That's kind of a letdown loss. If they, you know what I mean?
Well, you know who we maybe should be comparing them to is Indiana. Because if Rutgers gets to the NCAA tournament, they're probably stealing Indiana's spot.
Yeah.
They play each other March 2nd.
That's what I'm saying. If they beat Indiana, you're talking about Indiana out. I'm sure, I don't know I haven't looked at the Big Ten standings, but could they be playing one of the first round games?
Yeah. No, we said it. These are all bonuses. Rutgers getting these ranked wins, obviously it helps their resume way more. but it's like kind of like house money. They're not expected to win them, so it only helps them. But the games against Nebraska, Northwestern, Minnesota coming up, or whoever the fuck they have coming up at the bottom of the league, they have to win those.
They only have 1 week game.
It's almost like it's like losing to Illinois is a 0. It doesn't really change it.
Right.
But losing to Minnesota is a -2. You know.
Right.
Now beating Minnesota is like a half because you're supposed to do it, and obviously it keeps you afloat. But losing to Minnesota really kills you. You know.
I'll say this: you guys see the Big Ten standings right now?
I was just about ready to pull it up.
4 losses, 4 losses, 4 losses, 4 losses, 5, 5, 6, 6. It is tight. There's 8 teams that can win it.
It
used to be a 3-way race.
Yeah.
Now Rutgers is a game behind Illinois and Wisconsin.
What kind of odds could you have gotten on Rutgers to win the fucking Big Ten? Holy shit.
Before this winning streak?
Before the season.
I'll see if I have it in my
Before
blog.
the winning streak was probably crazier odds than before the season just because the hole they were in.
I still kind of feel like before the season was pretty fucking crazy. Yeah, maybe you're right. Because they didn't expect them to win those. Yeah, you're probably right. It's probably a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But either way,
because if they don't go 4-0 in their last 4, they don't even have a shot.
Yeah.
Now they have a shot. Yeah, I don't know if one of you can pull up the odds right now.
I'm trying to find the
Barstool Sportsbook, but
that would be a lot of fun. That'd be a lot of fun if Rutgers made it to the Big Ten championship game too. You know.
Well, if they make it there, they're in.
Well, I'm just saying, like, made a run through. Like, you know, like I don't know if I really want a Big Ten championship game that's non-eventful of Purdue against Illinois. Like, yes, it's the 2 best teams. But, like, it's Sunday afternoon. We said it. They don't truly seed it. That game doesn't really matter. They're not affecting the bracket. They're not really changing it. So give me Rutgers, Iowa in the Big Ten championship game on Sunday. That's fucking electric.
Yeah.
Do you know what would be awesome, though? Or, like, these conference tournament semifinals where we're on path, if, like, seeds hold, the Big 12 would be Kansas, Texas, and Baylor, Texas Tech. And then the SEC would be Alabama, Auburn, and Kentucky, Tennessee. Like, sign me up for those semifinal games.
Yeah.
Those would be on different days.
No. I want
I'm just saying, yeah.
I want the SEC to hold. I want the Big Ten to blow up.
I think the Big Ten's going to blow up. I mean, maybe Purdue.
What is blowing up in the Big Ten nowadays, though?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, Indiana's what? The 8, 9 seed? Like, Michigan seed?
Right now, Indiana's the 9. Michigan's the 8. Iowa's 7.
We've seen Michigan do it from the 8 spot before.
Yeah. I mean, they're a team, too. Like, I know we said Michigan was dead, but all these bracketologists have them right in the thick of the bubble conversation. That win against Purdue, winning by 24 points. Michigan's very much alive. I'll tell you what, they have 2 away games. If they can split these at Iowa, Wisconsin, then they have 4 at home, and then at Ohio State. Like, they're not dead.
Is Hoiberg getting fired?
I'm just I honestly thought he was going to be okay. Is Nebraska ever going to get somebody better than him?
No, I get it, but like, how long do you let a guy just, you know what I mean? It's almost like putting him out of his misery. It's like, hey, you're clearly not the guy.
So this is his 3rd year. You probably give him another year.
Fair. All right. I mean,
right?
Like, contract,
dude. He
had
7
wins in 3 straight years.
He had some fucking dudes at Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
Marty posted that picture of Niang. I want to be like, yo, man, I'm really sorry about your foot, but also like I had you guys to win that year.
I had him. Monte Morris is one of my favorite college basketball players of all time.
Was watching him in the Big 12, kind of like fell in love with him. My brother had been watching him like
Hilton's on the bucket list too. Like, I want to go to Hilton.
When they're good. My brother had been watching them in a different spot, and we both kind of were like, who do you like? Like, filling out a bracket. And he's like, bro, Iowa State's legit. So crazy. He breaks his foot. That's the tournament. I mean, you know, it's just fucking nuts. But
let UConn win a title.
We haven't talked about Illinois on the flip side. They're just in that cluster now. I mean, I don't know. Losing out the rack, like, I don't think I'm going to drop you down any
I don't think we can, right? Like,
weirdly,
maybe earlier in the year, right? Earlier in the year, you're like, that's not great. Like we did with Purdue when they lost there.
You could if you were the only one, but now that a bunch of teams have,
Right.
it's like, all right, you start to get the narrative. Hey, going to Rutgers is really hard. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm just thinking, like when Purdue did lose there, we were all like, "Oh, what's wrong with Purdue?" Like is this gonna be like when Wisconsin lost there with Decker and Kaminsky? Now it's like, no, everyone just fucking loses it.
Right.
At Rutgers.
Illinois in the last month, they have wins against Michigan State, Wisconsin, and Indiana. So yeah, I'm not on them, but
they don't have a bad loss. Like that loss to Maryland is bad, but you got to remember, like Kofi and Curbelo didn't play, so the committee may throw that out because Kofi had I think Kofi had concussion.
Right.
So it's like, does that again? Like, yes, it matters, but also does it?
Right. And they have at Michigan State Saturday, so the public will be back in on them if they can take that. And Michigan State doesn't look good right now, so it's definitely a winnable game in East Lansing. Yeah. So those are the two marquee games on Wednesday night. So let's wrap up the show with beating the buzzer. We have all 3 days to cover. We'll work backwards here because
Did you want to touch on two real quick, like just quickly? Connecticut over Seton Hall. Seton Hall.
Yeah, I had that in there, but
kind of
talk about it more in depth.
Yeah, not really in depth, but just more like kind of up. Seton Hall's upsetting. I also think is Maryland kind of like maybe pulling back the love of Willard a little bit.
Was that a you rumor or was that a real rumor?
No, he's on.
It's a very real rumor.
Every list. He's on every list.
I know you mentioned it when we went to the Texas game, but
yeah, Reags, you hear this? They win, and everyone's walking past us like, "Oh, big win!" Like, yo, thanks for calling. Great game. I'm like, yeah, enjoy Willard while you can. He's going to Maryland. Big F goes like this. You fucking asshole. He's like, why are you shitting on him? The buzzer just fucking went off. Like, what is the matter with you? I'm like, he's going. What do you want me to say?
So I like Willard, but when you look into it and really deep dive, he's basically like Mark Durchin. Like when you look at tournament success, like the way their teams go,
fair.
Even kind of the way he talks a little bit, like
Wofford.
He's got a lot of turgid in him.
Not a basketball powerhouse, arena off campus, probably got fucked the year with his best team with Powell.
Yeah, they're going to be a 3 seed during COVID.
Yeah, Powell and Kale when they were really, really clicking. So we don't really know when his deep run should have been, you know.
But then you look like the years with Angel Delgado always felt like they should have been a little bit better.
Without a doubt.
I think he's kind of turgid, which would make me laugh now if that's who Maryland hires because fans will just be like, here we go again.
It's amazing that Maryland has kind of fallen to where they are, you know? They're always kind of still oh, Maryland, but they haven't been able to ever put it together.
One wrong hire. And now this is why this is arguably their one of the most important hires they can make.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because you're not going to be too removed from Gary.
Connecticut has won 3 of 4 now. They have Xavier and Villanova at home. Xavier, by the way.
Yeah, tough.
They laid an egg tonight against St. John's.
And their last 8, they're 3-5 in their last 8.
Listen, we like Jack Nungy. They're an team. They are. They're just They
And what's weird is you watch them, their stuff isn't terrible. They have I like their team. I like the depth that they have and everything. But then they just never make that jump. They're just kind of stuck in the mud. I feel like they play well early on, and then come mid-January, it hits every year, and it's just weird. It doesn't make any sense.
Right. But yeah, UConn winners of 3 of 4. Seton Hall under 500 in the Big East. They do have a favorable schedule though to wrap up. It's DePaul, Butler, Xavier, Georgetown, Creighton. They could run the table. Yeah, they can run that table for sure heading into the Big East tournament. So let's wrap up with beating the buzzer Monday through Wednesday. We'll work a little bit backwards here to wrap up the show. 3, 2, 1. All right, Rico, we'll start off with number 25, Alabama, 80. Mississippi State 75. Defend your guard, Nate Oates, ejected for the first time.
Have you ever heard of a strategic technical foul?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. He got tossed at 8:37.
They were down 7, right?
Yeah, and they fucking closed the game huge. So every call went his way. He had to prove a point.
So you're saying they're better without him?
Nope. I'm saying sometimes you gotta take
Promote
a
the
bullet.
assistant.
Sometimes you gotta
Brian
take a bullet.
Hodgson, next man up.
Sometimes it was Charlie who was coaching. Sometimes you gotta take a bullet to get out, prove your point. The team got fired up, obviously rallied around them. Listen, you could say they're only gonna win if they're gonna shoot threes well. They shot threes like shit and they figured out a way to win. So I get it. It's Mississippi State and Ben Howland's a fucking lunatic.
They still had a bubble shot, Mississippi State.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's they're not. It's not necessarily like Auburn or Kentucky. They got to figure out the turnovers. I still think they got really good guards, and I think at some point Ellis has got to contribute points. He's 0 for 8 tonight. I know he's a great two-way guard defensively, but he's really turning into a one-way guard because they're really only relying on his defense. It's few and far between with his points. So, but listen, I still buy him. I really do. Playing in this, we've seen him beat 3 out of the last 4 Final Four teams. They're there. They're a second-round matchup nightmare. But could they lose to Belmont in the first round? Possibly.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that. If they win at Kentucky on Saturday, I think a lot of people will believe in them even more because we've seen Alabama's inconsistencies. They've beaten the good teams. You win in Rupp Arena, I don't think you can really nitpick anything. So that'll be something exciting this weekend.
We should get Raf on that call too, right, Reags? 1 o'clock.
It's on CBS.
CBS Saturday.
Yeah,
I could see that being either
him or him and Nessler maybe.
Well, it's Nance. Nance is done with football. It couldn't be him.
Or now Nance is back.
Oh,
no, he is golf, or he's at golf this weekend.
I don't know. Yeah,
he's
or
at
Ian
does golf on the weekends. Yeah.
So my guess would be Nessler, Nance, or Ian.
Well, the bird. Can you get the bird on? Aren't you friends with his son?
Yeah.
With Noah.
Let's get the bird on.
You want to get him on?
Yeah.
You can work on it.
Get the bird on.
Yeah, I'll work on that. Little ACC rapid fire here. Notre Dame survives what would have been a really bad loss at home to Boston College. They also, they would have gotten swept. Rico's, if you're watching YouTube,
Coach of the
Mike
Year
Gray book.
Coach of the Year.
I don't know about Coach of the Year, but it's definitely
for what? The state of Indiana?
ACC.
All right, we had this discussion earlier. We won't go in circles. Yeah, so they needed that one badly. Miami beats Louisville by 7, but the main one that we're going to hit on, North Carolina doesn't lose to Pittsburgh at home. They get embarrassed. That's a bad loss. I mean, they only lost by 9, but they were never really in that game.
No, and isn't this, we talked about it earlier, to sort of like what we talked about earlier. Isn't this kind of the fear for like Duke fans watching Hubert Davis at UNC?
Reiterate.
With like how we talked about all right, so we talked about earlier about Jon Scheyer, right? UNC keeps it in family.
Yes, I get what he's saying.
UNC loves to keep it in family. Hubert Davis, and I'm not ruling out that Hubert Davis can figure it out. It's year 1. But everyone kind of had UNC pegged as like a top 20 team in the preseason. And they're losing to Pitt. Like you said, they're getting their ass kicked by Pitt.
Yeah.
When you need to win that game to stay on to stick around the tournament. You lose that game, you're good luck. Just good luck.
Reags, I said it too in the terms of like you used to be able, like you set your watch to Krzyzewski versus Dean Smith, Krzyzewski versus Roy Williams. What if they're both wrong?
Yeah, oh God.
In terms of a sport, it's going to be really, really interesting for them, like ESPN, to keep plugging on February on a Saturday, Duke Carolina, and it's like 11-7 versus fucking 9-8, and you're like the rivalry, and you're like this fucking sucks. Like like that hurts the sport when the rivalry. And we've talked about it a bunch of different ways. Like college basketball really is it really only takes off from now to March. We obviously love it, but like around Christmas they're burying games before bowl games, before champ. Like it's tough. They buried Baylor, Texas Tech, I think, like on ESPNU at 2:00. Like the Big 12, a lot of their stuff is sometimes only streaming, like some of those games. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's Adam Morrison said it too. The sport's covered differently. If the two biggest commodities in the sport both pick the wrong guy, we're in a little trouble.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting watching that though after our discussion earlier today about Scheyer and everything. But I mean, like this was. UNC was flirting with disaster. They were doing the resume that was going to be similar to what we kind of talked about with like Indiana. the resume where they're just going to be good enough to get into the NCAA tournament and hope they got hot, where they weren't losing to bad teams, right? Like they lost to Purdue, Tennessee, Kentucky, at Notre Dame, at Miami, at Wake Forest, home to Duke. You can almost excuse every one of those losses, right? But like now you add a home loss to Pittsburgh and you don't have a quality win. Their best win is home to Michigan.
Yeah, Hubert's. I know it's year one and they'll get guys. I don't think he's the guy, and I know everyone's gonna laugh at me, and he probably wasn't gonna leave, but I probably would have offered $9 to $12 million a year for Jay Wright. I'll be honest. You set yourself up for the. Yeah, I got you, but he'd have to tell his wife that he turned it down. When it hit the paper.
I'll get it from the Sixers again at some point.
All right, fair enough. All right, whatever. I got you.
I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter if UNC loses these next few games if they can win in Durham on the last day.
Right.
That's all people remember.
But also, then that kind of counteracts this loss, right? Like they're back immediately on probably the right side of the bubble, but they're like one of those teams that we're looking at the next week going, okay, are they a 10 seed? Are they out? What has to happen? How many bids can't get stolen? Because that's just the way the ACC is this year.
Krzyzewski's going to be shitting his pants that night, especially after beating him by 20. His best players are freshmen. They are going to be overlooking that fucking game like no other.
It's the last game of the regular season.
Bro, I get it. They're going to be overlooking that game.
I don't know.
Not that game.
What do they have to look up? Like, yeah, there's nothing to really look.
They're going to be
have an opponent.
They're going to be They're going to be disrespecting Carolina. I think Carolina gives them a good punch.
Yeah,
I don't think they win, but it's Krzyzewski's going to be shitting his pants.
Yeah,
there's no way they let Duke lose that game.
Okay, I got you.
The Cameron whistle is going to be super friendly.
Fair enough. But if I could get a prop in the Barstool Sportsbook at any point, will Carolina be up 8 and Krzyzewski like livid? I would take yes on that prop, even if I had to lay money.
What would be the funniest outcome of Krzyzewski's last game?
Losing to a 15 seed.
He gets ejected like Kareem in
specific to Carolina, I should say, Jake, not
okay.
Like his last game in Cameron. What would be
buzzer beater? UNC buzzer beater, or UNC wins by 20. I don't know. Which isn't realistic. I mean,
I was kind of going with Rico. I think him getting ejected for like finally like snapping again on the Cameron Crazies or like getting into it with Hubert Davis would be the funniest outcome.
I've heard he's relentless on the referee. I mean, I've seen it, but like, people have like written articles or like there's firsthand accounts. Like he sits behind the bench, he's ruthless to the referees. I wonder if they put a guy on who's retiring, like without realizing it, who has a gripe and is like you said, like, you know what, like literally like Billy Crystal in fucking Forget Paris. It's like, how can you toss me? It's my farewell game. And he's like, let me be the first to say bye-bye, Kareem. Like, fucking, like, I don't know, whatever.
It'll be like Doug Schall's, John Higgins, and Doug Sermons. We know who's getting that game.
Or Teddy. Teddy.
Can Teddy do ACC games again?
He used to.
He got well. Then after the Joel Berry incident, he got removed.
Oh,
from
that was
ACC
bad.
games.
Yeah, he should have been removed from that.
Ted Valentine.
Speed through it, Jake. What do we got next?
Yeah. All right. Let's go to Tuesday. Number 20, Texas 80, Oklahoma 78 in overtime. Last episode, we said it was over for the Sooners, but a lot of bracketologists said otherwise. They were in like the last 4 buys category, but this is another tough one to swallow for them.
Uphill
Texas
battle.
Needed it.
Uphill battle. I would love to see Tanner Groves in the tournament again.
It's just they're 4-9. They're 14-12 overall. They're right around 500 in the overall. Like, they can't get in like that.
I was going to say that just shows like the Big 12 this year. Like we all think Oklahoma's a decent team, and they're going to finish like with 5 or 6 conference wins, and it just that conference just ate itself up where 3 teams had to like get eliminated from NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I don't like. This is my first season doing bracketology, and obviously I don't spend as much time as Joe Lenardi. It's his full-time job. I got a bunch of other things going on, so he's definitely looking at the metrics a lot more. But I don't understand how they're like not out right now. I said they were done. I thought I was safe saying that, but how were they still in before this game?
I don't know. I mean, like even like their non-conference, how you look at it, I guess the Arkansas win's really holding up the most.
12-3, but
they lost to Butler. Like they lost to Butler, they lost to Utah State, and now they are 4-9 in conference. Like I don't know how they're in.
I understand the Big 12's great, but
and their 4 wins.
Texas Tech is only going to win.
Right, that's it. And the other ones are at home against 2 of the 3 worst teams.
Yeah. So I guess they're still in according to him, but I thought they were out.
Yeah.
An upset in the Big Ten: Penn State 62, number 19 Michigan State 58. The Spartans have Illinois, Iowa, Purdue, Michigan, Ohio State next. So that's 3 out of 4 losses for them. It's put up or shut up time for Coach Izzo because they have a tough schedule. They can get some of these wins back, but they're not looking good.
They don't have guards, and I know. Let me say this because I almost tweeted out the other night. We're getting to that time where everyone goes, "Well, you can't count out Tom Izzo in March." January, February, Izzo, April.
Yeah,
he's made it out of the first weekend twice the last 6 tournaments. He's lost to an 11 seed. He's lost to a 15 seed, and he's blown a massive lead to UCLA in that same time. Is it becoming somewhat of a myth? And I know he's made a Final Four in 2019, but at the same time, and 15. And the 15 one was a run. They were a 7 seed. 19,
yeah.
19, you have Cassius Winston. But
and 20, they were going to be like a 2 or 3 seed.
Right, but I'm saying in what we have from tournament data.
Yeah.
Do we really have to trust Izzo? Have we kind of moved past it to where 2 out of 6 he's getting eliminated in the first weekend?
Yeah, no, I think that's valid criticism.
I'm just out on this team, so I'm looking for reasons to fade him.
I think it's similar to the Syracuse thing. They make the Final Four every 3 or 4 years, and you're like, all right, he can make a run at any time.
And it's even looking at what Michigan State's done this year, what have they done? They're really holding on to the battle for
Atlantis. Yeah, the Atlantis championship game where they beat Loyola and UConn, but
and then lost to Baylor
at Wisconsin.
Yeah, but then you lose at home to Wisconsin, so it's all right.
Right. Yeah, but like I said, they have the gauntlet to end the season. So if they can go 3-3, that's good for them.
Do you think they do? If I set the line at 2.5, are you taking over or under?
Under the way they're playing right now, but I would say 2 and 4. I don't think they're gonna just roll over and lose 5 out of 6.
I mean,
2 and 4 and 1 and 5 is a humongous difference.
Right, they're gonna be all right. So they beat Maryland at home the last game of the season, but if you told me they lost to everyone else, I wouldn't be overly shocked.
Yeah, but they can't go on a 6-game losing streak entering March.
You can.
They can, but they don't want to do that.
No.
I mean,
it'll be interesting. This is one of the teams that I've circled to because of the schedule of, all right, let's really pay attention to this last couple weeks.
Yeah, that's fair. Upset in the Mountain West, New Mexico 75, number 22, Wyoming 66. So the second loss for the Cowboys since December 22nd. Prior to what we said about UNC, if it's between UNC and a Wyoming or Boise State, I still think the power team gets in. We've seen this every year.
Yeah, but also last year, what was it? Last year we got Drake into when everyone thought they weren't going to get in. So I do agree. The gut feeling just says they're going to take the name, especially when it's a blue blood. But at the same time, are they? They left Louisville out last year.
Right. No, they definitely did. Everyone thought Louisville was a lock.
Right. And they were first one out, I think. But it sucks. I like when teams like Wyoming and San Diego State and those Mountain West, and I think the Mountain West is good, but when they start becoming ranked and you have also 3 ranked Mountain West teams out of nowhere.
Yeah. All right. Quick hitters on the SEC. So just wanted to throw this out there. The teams are pretty much done, but South Carolina half-court buzzer beater over Ole Miss was great. Yeah, got us excited for March. Arkansas smokes Missouri. Good bounce back for them after the tough loss to Alabama. But the one that I think is the most important is Florida. The Gators lose by 1 to Texas A&M. They got Colin Castleton back, and we thought they can make a run at the tournament. This one's backbreaking for them. This was the first win for A&M in 9 games. You can't have this loss for the Gators.
No, remember we thought Texas A&M might have been a bubble team too, and now that streak kind of took them out of it. that's why, yeah, you're right. If Florida with Castleton back, you can't lose that. And you can't – I mean, I know Texas A&M's defense is way improved, and Buzz is the defensive coach. You can't score 55 points.
No.
Like, you just can't.
No.
Just play faster. Do something, Mike White. Like, switch it up. I don't know. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think the Gators, unless they can somehow – if they can beat – like, they have Auburn and Arkansas at home back-to-back. They have to get one of them.
They have so 3 of their 5, Auburn, Arkansas, Kentucky, all at home. You got to get
at least one.
2 you're in for sure. 1 you're
assuming you beat Georgia Vanderbilt.
Yeah, right. Avoid the bad loss. Yeah.
Yeah. So they need one more big win because all they have is that Ohio State buzzer beater on Feast Week. That's it. That's their only good win. So they're in trouble. In the AAC, Memphis might be back. They beat Cincinnati by 7. And then SMU actually just lost tonight. They were becoming a bubble team too. I know we said that was pretty much a Houston or a bid stealer league. But Memphis looks like they can be back. SMU maybe had a shot because they beat Houston. They lost to Temple, SMU.
So the SMU loss is horrendous. Probably look at spot 2 because SMU and Memphis play this weekend.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm very hesitant on this Memphis is back train that everyone seems to kind of be, like, running with. And
because it was fun if they made a run.
I was just about to say, so part of it is the fact that, like, everybody associated with college basketball wants Memphis to be good. Like there are certain programs that you're like Georgetown. Everybody wants Georgetown to be good. Everybody wants Memphis to be good, and like teams that have this like history to kind of come back, right? Like we saw with Illinois last year. But like they've had one good win since Alabama, and that was Houston, who is like we've talked about all the time, without 2-star, like no Mark, no Sasser. It's a really good win, but like sure, like they're beating bad teams.
Yeah.
I'm just hesitant. Like the AAC is just so bad. I wish like it needs to be better. It's some way somehow.
Yeah. And then quickly, Iowa State beats TCU by 3. These two teams. I mean, Iowa State should still be a lock for the tournament, right? They were ranked last week.
Yeah. So
TCU, they're like on. I don't know.
They're projected 9 seed now.
Yeah. So they're just Met teams. I know we talked about the Big 12 earlier.
They literally flip a coin with those 2 teams.
Yeah,
they're ranked one above each other on bracket matrix. Both as 9 seeds. Iowa State is the second 9 seed. TCU is the third 9 seed.
Right. And then Monday, Virginia Tech beat Virginia by 9. Kansas over Oklahoma State by 14. A pretty big Monday. Nothing really to take away from there.
Flip Virginia and Virginia Tech coin. They're like one's in the bubble, one's out of the bubble when they play each other.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's all I got. Shout out to my guys at Vermont. First team to lock up the regular season title.
Yeah.
So the way it is, for those who are unfamiliar, it's a pretty cool rule. And for mid-major teams, if you win the regular season and you stumble in your conference tournament, you get an auto bid to the NIT. And I know that people are like, oh, NIT sucks.
It matters
for those small school teams. Going to the NIT is cool. But of course, Vermont wants to make the tournament. They should hopefully, knock on wood, make the tournament. And yeah, they lost to Hartford on Monday to snap their winning streak, but they won the regular season. Tubby Smith stepped down. Quick word from you, maybe.
Listen,
guy now at High Point.
I'm glad he got his moment back at Lexington on New Year's Eve, where they put his name in the rafters. Where I'll be honest, it belonged. I was in college for the last 2 years at Tubby. Obviously, it didn't end well because he just wasn't getting back to the Final Fours, and that's kind of expectations at Kentucky. But the dude has like the nice. There's not one person that'll say one bad thing about Tubby Smith. Hopefully, reports where he had COVID twice, and that was part of the reason why he was stepping down. Hopefully, all good health-wise. I think he's one of the more like forgotten about really good coaches that we've had. So, hell of a career, and it's kind of cool his son's taking over his alma mater now.
Where is High Point in the conference? They have any shot?
I don't think so. They're Big South, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I think actually Longwood is. Yeah, they're under 500.
Longwood's really good in that league.
Yeah, Longwood.
Oh, so that's right. The Big South is north and south.
They're like middle of the pack right now.
Middle of the pack, yeah.
They can make a run. Get to the first 4. And then also, sorry, one more thing. The Phil Knight Invitational field. So Feast Week 2022 is going to be unbelievable. Iowa State, Alabama, Michigan State, North Carolina, Oregon, Portland as the host team, UConn, and Villanova. They did this a few years ago. It's cool that all of these
That's just
powerhouses
one.
agree.
That's just one of the brackets too.
Right.
Which,
Yeah.
because it's 16 and it's
Did they announce the second one?
Yeah, they did. Goodman had it originally. I'll pull it up.
I found it. The other brackets: Duke, Florida, Gonzaga, Oregon State, Portland State, Purdue, West Virginia, Xavier. So that's all I have on that. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Give me more.
Yeah, that's our show. Shout out Colin Gillespie for coming on, and we'll see everyone on Monday.
Finished without me?
Yeah.
All right, just one thing. Nobody noticed the possession arrow or the Rick Majerus basketball camp shirt?
I did not.